Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Guys, it's been long. It's felt like a while, to be fair. The last time I streamed was about 12, 13 days ago. Feels good to be back live with you guys, though. Feels good. I'm definitely on the back of a big win against Wolves today. I have been watching Chelsea while I've been in Turkey, and I have been impressed, to be fair. So you're going to get my thoughts, my feelings, as always, on the games itself. We're going to be talking more about today's game, the 3-0 win, Graham Potter, how he's set up, some individual players, some other things that are going in and around Twitter as well, things that are happening in and around Twitter that we're going to talk about. We're going to go through some player ratings as well, and then we're going to allow you guys to get involved, have your say, do your thing on this Saturday night show. But I need you guys to do me one big favor, as always, if you can. Make sure that we're smashing them like buttons. Just get these likes up. Please, let's do that. Lots to discuss today. Subscribe to both GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. And before we move forward, guys, let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV as well. Over 50 of you guys here combined already. Hope you guys have been well while I have been away. Lots has been happening in and around Chelsea Football Club and on the pitch action as well. We're going to be talking about the game today, but we're also going to be talking about later on in the show about the game on Tuesday as well. I am flying to Milan on Monday. I will be going to the Milan versus Chelsea game on Tuesday, but flying out Monday to Wednesday. So I'm going to be in Italy for them 2 days, which is hence why we will probably be talking about today's game, and we will be talking about the Milan game in itself as well. And do you know what, Cuzzy? Could have said it better, mate. Up the fucking Chelsea. Up the Chelsea. Chelsea on a little bit of a roll at the moment. Chelsea are on a little bit of a roll at the moment, and we're going to be talking about that very soon. I can see there's a lot of you guys in here already. Big up to every single one of you guys. Please make sure that we are smashing the likes, sharing on your socials as well, guys. Let's let everyone know that we are currently live right now as well. And we're going to go through the chat and obviously go through the chat and see how everyone is as well. Big up the Chelsea database in the house. Hope you're well. RD says, happy belated birthday. Thank you very much. I did have my birthday while I was away, so big ups to you. What are you saying about Pulisic? Well, we'll talk about Pulisic a bit later in the show. Pulisic look quick today. His accuracy improved over the game. Good to see. Is what Gil Bertoni's saying. Devin, big up to you. He says it's been a while, my guy. Big up to you, man. Thank you for coming through as always, sir. It's nice to see you as well, Gary. Nice to see you. Have to admit, was worried when I see the lineup. But boy, I was wrong. Cracking performance. And then listen, I would probably go far to say that 90% of the Chelsea fan base probably sat there when they saw that lineup and thought, what are we doing? Where are we going with this? What are we doing? And to be honest, I felt the same. I did feel the same as well. It is a little bit of a late show today. Usually we tend to like doing earlier streams on both GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV from my side of things. It is a little bit of a late show today, but we will be resuming back to our normal times on shows as well, which is usually in the afternoons, weekdays. Obviously, we will do a match reaction to the Milan game as well, guys, on Wednesday. Well, I'll be flying back. I should be back by about 10, 11 o'clock. So, yeah, we can definitely look to do a match reaction show on that. I can give you some taste of what I see and take some pictures and whatever else. Big up to Chelsea OG. Nice to see you. You look more tan than normal. To be honest, I'm in the dark at the moment. People can't actually see me. See how tanned I am. Big up to Chelsea OG. He says, big up, my brother. Hit the likes and share it, bros. Big up to everyone that's there. Steve, nice to see you as well. He says, Chelsea beating Milan 3-0 was a good, big score in case it goes to head to record. If they finish level in points in a tight group. Lots to still play for there. Big up to Chelsea OG. Big up to Sweet Tea as well. Nice to see you, mate. Says Chelsea was superb today. Big up to you. Big up to QNTV Kazim in the house as well. Nice to see you. Nearly over 100 of you guys here. Lots to get into. We're going to get stuck in. Lines are going to be open a little bit later as well for you guys. Mister says the GOAT is back. Big up to you, man. Big up to you. All right, look, should we just get into it? Let's start digging into some of the things. Like I said, guys, though, please make sure that we are hitting them likes up as well. I've got so many tabs open, it's going to take me ages to find, so bear with me. We're going to start with the comment or tweet from CFC Pies earlier today. And this was based around how Chelsea have been playing since Graham Potter's arrival to the club. And it goes on to say that Chelsea have an XG of a 0.83 with 100 total shots in the 0.83 with 15 total shots in the half, 13 being inside the box and 8 being off target, according to FootMob stats. Now, this is based on today's game, and I think, again, it was a little bit of tale of two halves. I thought the overall game we played quite well. I thought we controlled the game, and I think we always control many games. I think the real big question with Chelsea is not so much the controlling, which is something we do quite well. It's how much we're going to create. And then on top of that, who's going to take their chances? Something that we know that we lack, I have been lacking in seasons, is actually having the players taking the opportunities when the chances are created. And today, 13 shots being created in the box, and 8 being off target is still quite poor when you look at it from that instance. But it's good to know that we are still creating more. Something that I think we need to, even though we saw it today, I think we still need to be a bit patient on, because for me, we can do this. We've seen Chelsea be able to create chances. We've seen Chelsea able to make things happen for themselves on their day. It's just how consistent can they be with doing this? We've seen games where we have 25, 30 shots a game, score 1 goal. The next game, we have 1 shot on target. Now, in the last 2 games against the Milan and the Wolves, we've scored 6 goals, 3 goals in each game. Played very well. 2 games, well done. But we do need to see more of a consistent pattern in how we do it. So, great to see what we did today. Good to see Chelsea now starting to create more. And it feels like more that they're more confident and comfortable in the way that they're playing as well, which is another real big thing in all of this as well. That header was mad, to be fair. That header was mad. So there we go. There's that. And then we also got this, which is quite interesting as well, again from CFC Pies, who comes out saying that Chelsea have racked up 54 shots in 4 games under Graham Potter, with 44 shots of those coming inside the box. So only 10 of our shots in the last 4 games have been shots from outside the box. One of them going in the back of the net, Conor Gallagher. Palace, 2-1. So that don't surprise me, because when I see that stat, I don't see many players in our team that have the ability to shoot outside the box. I think we're more of a squad, or that have the numbers to try and need the numbers to try and get in the box, which then gives us more chance of obviously scoring goals. I don't see us taking more or working towards sort of getting the ball and taking shots outside the box. I think the aim is to move the ball quickly, get into the box as quickly as possible with as many people in the box, and then convert your shots in from there. That don't surprise me with Chelsea in terms of more of our shots being inside the box, because I just don't think we have the players profile that would take shots outside the box. So again, that doesn't surprise me. But when you look at the overall volume of shots, then you've got to think to yourself, that's good. It's good to see, and again, it seems like they're slowly sort of pulling to what he wants, how he wants it, what is desired from them moving forward as well, and each and every player is starting to understand it. I see a lot of people in the chat saying Pies has bare haters online for some reason. Look, I know Pies anyway, and I've got a lot of respect for him. I think he's all right. Some people may like him, some people not. And again, people's opinions are all based on takes in football, at the end of the day. And I think he talks a lot of sense. Big up to Pies as always. But at the end of the day, when you're as big as the count as he is, you're always going to have individuals that are going to potentially hate or say something, et cetera, et cetera. Pulisic at left wing with confidence is saucy. That's what Jazza B is saying. Chelsea Database says just need to work on being clinical in front of goal. Our attacking play is nice to watch, and it is. It is definitely nice to see. Definitely nice to watch and see as well. I agree on that. Listen, guys, there's over 100 of you here combined. Big up to every single one of you guys. Only 10 minutes into the show. Like I said, we will be opening up the lines later in the show today to get you guys involved as well. But make sure that we're hitting the likes, guys. If we don't hit the likes, the show itself doesn't get seen more. So I need everyone to smash the likes, share it on your socials, let everyone know that we are currently live as well. Please, let's get that done. Bitter winbacks are wingers. What do you mean? That's thingy. What's his name? Gone brain dead. Feel really bad. I can't even remember your name right now. That's so bad. Oh my god, I've actually forgot his name, and I know it so well. Get it with C. Comes on the chat. Oh my god, that's how long I've been out of the game. Don't take offense to it. It's just that I am still very tired. I've not slept a lot in these last couple of days as well. Callie, that's who it is. That's Callie. Big up to Callie in the chat. Don't take offense to it, Callie. I'm just very tired at the moment, mate. We did have something very special today on top of the performance in itself. And it was the fact that Diego Costa was playing for Wolves today. And yes, he was kept quiet. Yes, he didn't offer much, in and around the game. But there was a nice sending off for Diego Costa as well. So I'm just going to play that to you guys now. He kind of went off on the side to get his Listen, when it comes to strikers, if we can ever find a player like Diego Costa, and let's be serious, out of the strikers that we've had at Chelsea, strikers that like Drogba, Costa that are up there, Costa being one of them, if we can find that again from somewhere in his next couple of years, which I do feel is kind of important moving forward, then I think you will see the, potentially Chelsea closing the gap to the top of the table again. But it was nice to see him. He didn't look fit, to be honest. He didn't really get involved much as well. But big up to Diego Costa as always. For me, one of the best, or second, maybe third, maybe fourth actually, third/fourth best striker I've ever seen at the Bridge, I've got to say. That for me this is where it gets a bit silly. Tuchel was the problem. What does that mean? He wasn't the problem. Let's not do this. Yeah, because I can rewind to the beginning of when Tuchel first come to Chelsea and how excited everyone got when we was winning games back to back and not conceding goals. And we all thought the same thing at the same time. Let's not forget who and what Tuchel done for Chelsea. And let's not compare. Let's not compare the two. And I don't think it's fair to compare the two, especially this early anyway. So let's move on. Now, I want to talk about some of the players. Let's talk about some of the players that played today. I want to talk about Mason Mount, who hasn't been performing the greatest this season. Been getting a lot of stick from many of the Chelsea supporters, including myself. I feel he's not been 100%. Not going to lie, I don't think he's performed to the level that he has done in the past couple of seasons. But in terms of how he played today, in terms of stats, this is 87% passing success, 33 passes completed, 5 key passes in the game, 3 to 4 crosses completed, 2 assists, and 1 big chance created in the game. He had 2 goal involvements, didn't he? He had 2 assists or 2 goal involvements today. I'm sure he set up Pulisic's goal, and he set up Havertz's goal. He had 2 assists today, really. Think about it. He was better today. And, people can still be a little bit with him, especially in the first half. I know some people feel that we didn't have the greatest the first half. I would disagree slightly to a degree. I thought we played quite well. I just don't think we were taking our chances. But Mason Mount, in the role that he played, so was as of a 10. in the game. I thought he had quite a good game. I thought he was quite impressive. And again, it falls down to the consistency of this player. I know Mason Mount's got it in him to be consistent. It's just that we need to see it. And today, talking on basically today, I think he was pretty decent. I think he was pretty decent. And we're going to do player ratings later in the show today. We've got nearly 150 of you guys in here. Big ups to everyone that are here at the moment. Keep hitting them like buttons though. Hit the like. We will open up the lines. Player ratings to come as well. Big up to Mason Mount and his performance today. And we're going to go to another individual that's been getting a lot of stick. A lot of stick from the Chelsea fan base. And some of it kind of fair in his performances. But Conor Gallagher today, guys. How good was Conor Gallagher today? And why was he so good today? And part of the reason why I brought him up today specifically to highlight him was that you saw a better Gallagher because he got played in his natural position, a position that he thrived under Palace, a position which he's more comfortable in. You know, we wasn't asking him to play as a 6. We wasn't asking him to play more as a deeper 8. We asked him to track back and do his bit, which he can do. He can do a bit of. But he's more effective when he finds himself off the right, combining 1-2 passes, winning the ball back, quickly. He's got a lot of intensity to his game. He likes shutting the ball further up the pitch quicker. I think that's better when you have players that are built with energy like him. And him and Mason Mount today had very good games. I even think offensively he was decent today. It was definitely his best game in the Chelsea shirt for me. And I did say this as much as and annoyed I was with his previous performances. Patience has to be given to to players like Conor Gallagher, still very young, playing at the top level now in terms of team in the first team of Chelsea Football Club. And I think that Graham Potter is trying to, from what I saw today, utilise players to their strengths, play them in positions where they're more comfortable, but it also benefits the system. It also benefits the team. I still feel that there's weaknesses, even with this current crop of players we have. I just still look across the pitch and I still think that we're still a little bit weak in certain areas and we can still be got at. But when you look at the forward line, and the creativity and the energy and what we have a crop of players that offer something different in their own ways. And Conor Gallagher, for me, is one of the only players in the team, one of the only players in the team that is, it takes shots outside the box. That is not scared to take a shot. That will commit, that will bring the same energy as Mount does. We got someone joining us in 10 minutes, someone quite special. So make sure that you're smashing the likes, guys. I want to try and get this up to 100 likes on both channels, please. Please smash the like button as quickly as we can, please. Please share on your socials as well. Big up to every single one of you guys. Nearly 200 of you guys in the chat, as always. Big up to every single one of yous. Great performance from Conor Gallagher. Good to see as well. We're going to move away from Conor Gallagher because we're going to do player ratings a bit later on. And I want to bring out a special mention to a player again who I thought was great today. I want to talk about Kalidou Koulibaly. Because Kalidou Koulibaly today, for me, was immense. And you've got to bear in mind, no Thiago Silva, who was confirmed by Graham Potter as off ill. No Fofana, who we know is out for a couple of weeks with a knee injury. He had to step up today. He had to be more of that leader type. He had to be that experience. And there's been some questions of his performances. There's been some questions of his performances this season. I actually think he's had some very good games, and I think he's also had some questionable games. Obviously, the red card against Leeds. But specifically in today's game, I thought he was great. He's played in the middle of the three. He was energetic. He made good tackles. He was winning the ball high up the pitch. He kept Diego Costa quiet. He Him and Chalobah played very well together. I'm going to speak about Chalobah in a second. Cucurella also, off the free with Cucurella, Chalobah, and Koulibaly. It was fine. Now I know Wolves had a lot of injuries. We know this, I get that, but you can only go on what we saw. And today I thought that they were very good. 89 touches, 4 out of 5 tackles won, 4 clearances, 8 recoveries. He won 5 out of 5 ground duels. 4 out of 5 of his aerial duels. So he only lost 1 aerial duel. And he didn't commit any foul the whole game. That is how good he was today. And there's a lot of rivals that are out there questioning the quality of this player. Some feel that he's not worth talking about anymore. He ain't that Koulibaly 3-4 years ago, which was touted as world class, one of the best top 3 centre backs in world football. But today, you saw the class of this guy. You saw the maturity, the class, the energy, everything. Everything was there today in his performance today. Now for Koulibaly, it's important to see how he moves forward. The consistency in his game. What are we going to get? And at the end of the day, the fact that we can rest Thiago Silva and bring in a player of this quality is huge. It's definitely huge. Steve says we've only got 53 likes, guys. Let's get these likes up. Over 200 of you guys here combined as well. Nice to see every single one of you guys here. As always, man. As always. But Koulibaly was a rock. Do you agree in the chat, viewers? Do you agree in the chat as well? I need to see Mendy under Potter first. We've got here, Kepa is back. There's a lot of talks about the goalies. We're going to talk about the goalies as well. Dave looked like a 25-year-old today. Someone else who had a very good game. I agree. Very impressive as well. We rested 7 players from Wednesday, and we're going to get into that team lineup because it was very scary. But again, great performance from Kalidou Koulibaly. But there's one more special mention that we do need to talk about. Someone that I thought was very good today. And we're going to talk about, where has he gone? Where are you gone? This guy. Trevor Chalobah. Now, Trevor Chalobah has played 26 games for Chelsea. We've won 17, drawn 9, and we've never lost a game with him on the pitch. He is undefeated when he steps on the pitch for Chelsea. Now, you could call it maybe a good luck charm for Chelsea Football Club. Maybe we should just play him more. Maybe he carries that. But what I have been seeing from this player since he first stepped in at Chelsea is, yes, he made rash decisions and silly fouls and, in bad areas, this, that and the other. But you're starting to see a player slowly developing and becoming what I feel. And I've been saying, especially when people were saying that they don't think he's good enough, some people, a player that is becoming mature, a player that's gaining the experience, a player that's playing with top quality defenders. He's the future for this football club. Thiago Silva ain't going to be here for long. Kalidou Koulibaly will not be around for long. We need to start looking at who's next. Who's going to be the sort of defender to step up. And yes, it may have took Wesley Fofana to get injured for him to come in. But since he's come in, he has been very good. And he deserves to be spoken about. I don't feel that Chalobah gets enough praise for what he's done in such a short space of time. I think he's a very good defender. He has his moments, yeah, I agree. He can be a little bit rash or he falls asleep with a pass. I get that. But people forget that this young lad come out of nowhere last season, started off amazing, was getting into the team. Then had that slight dip in form, got benched by Thomas Tuchel, came back in against Liverpool in the final to play against Diaz and had a great game against him. Yes, he had his moments, but he learned so much playing against such a top player. And since that, has held the bench and now has been given the opportunity to come back in and play at the highest level. And when I say to people that I want to see this young boy playing in my back three more than I do Azpilicueta, you got to saw it again today. Young, athletic, good with the ball, good tackler, has recovery speed. He's an all-round good defender. He's a player that we should really be talking about a little bit more. You know, all right, Gavardia, maybe next to come in if Chelsea decide to spend that money off the left, playing off the left. But I just feel we've got a good player here. I just feel that we should be talking more about him. I just feel we should be talking more about him. Over 250 of you guys here. Big up to every single one of you guys. Big up to Trevor Chalobah again for taking his chance today and putting in a good performance. Another guy who had a good game for the short time that he came on was Armando Broja, who did score his goal today. And he's got a couple of words that he wants to say here as well.
Hi, Chelsea fans. I'm extremely delighted to get my first Chelsea goal. The performance was amazing from all the boys, and we'll see you in Milan on Tuesday. Come on, you Blues. Hi, Chelsea fans. I'm extremely delighted to get my first Chelsea goal. The performance was amazing from all the boys, and we'll see you in Milan on Tuesday. Come on, you Blues. Hi, Chelsea fans.
Oh, shit. Johnny's here as well. Big up, Johnny. Just again, I'll come to you in a second, mate. 2 seconds. Just getting into Broja. Yeah, again, another player that I feel should be given more game time. A player that deserves the opportunities, the chances to maybe play more in his team. One of the things that we have seen under Graham Potter, and it's improving, is that we're now seeing our striker score. I know it's very early, and this the consistency is going to be important. Broja scored. Aubameyang scored. Havertz has scored. All three of these players, when coming in under Graham Potter, have took their chances and scored goals. And that's something that we've been moaning about as fans for a very long time. So it's good to see that we are now, seeing them step up. And I want to see more game time from him. And do you know what? Before we move on, we'll ask Johnny the same question. What do you think about Broja at Chelsea so far? Do you think, he's coming in for 20 minutes, 30 minutes here and there? Do you feel maybe he deserves a bit more time on the pitch from what you've seen?
Well, let's have it right, Jim. Big up to you, Geezer. Lovely to see you.
You
Big
brown,
up to everyone. Yeah, mate. You know what I mean? In the sun, living it large. You know what I mean? Let's have it right. Yeah. Big up to everyone in here as well. Like and subscribe and all that jazz. Big up to all you guys in the comments. Let's have it right. Broja for me is going to be the Diego Costa regen. Literally. I think the goal today from Costa was from Costa. That's what I'm saying. from Broja was outstanding. I mean, it was very, very like him. The way he shielded the ball, the way he protected it, the way he created the space for himself, and then whip it in from just inside the box. That's the minerals I'm talking about. Now, we always knew that Broja had it in him. We know he's got talent. He showed glimpses of that under Southampton, even though I think he only scored 6 goals or something, or was it close to 10 goals? I can't remember. But I think he needs to be bed in. I think when you got players like Aubameyang right now, for me, who's wearing a number 9 shirt and he's being clinical as fuck at the minute, and you got Kai now bagging a goal. I think that he's sort of like that third in line, but it's down to the kid himself when he gets his opportunities like he did today to deliver the minerals, and he scored his goal, and I was very happy with him scoring a goal. I was desperate for him to score a goal, and I felt he would do when he came on, the way we were playing against Wolves, and he did just that. And credit to the kid, because I think now he's got the opportunity to sort of, I think, make Potter think about it and say, you know what, in some of the games, especially the cup games, we can actually play Broja and let him have a full sort of like 70 odd minutes, depending on how the game goes. If we're winning, he might play the full 90. But I think he'll get his opportunities. There's plenty of time. And let's have it right, Jem. All the brown envelopes are in the mud. They said that we were going to sell him on a permanent deal and that he wanted to leave. He never wanted to leave. He wanted to be at our football club. He's Chelsea through and through. Yeah. He's a Cobham boy. He's young, he's hungry, he's strong, he's got pace, he's got technical ability, he's got great hold-up play, he can score all types of goals. It's exactly what we need. And I think for the future, when Aubameyang is in his latter stages of his career, You've got Kai Havertz, I think will stay at our football club regardless of what the haters think because he's got the minerals. I think Broja will be that second to Kai when Aubameyang does go. So for me, I'm excited by Broja. I think he's quality, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I've been saying it. I think he deserves a bit more time as well. And I think it'd be good to see how Graham Potter utilises him, whether he feels that he can. The good thing is with it all is that he gives him more of a problem. The fact that he comes on for such, short minutes and always impresses for me. He always looks like he can be a handful, providing you feed him. You feed him, you play him in. He's quick, he's strong, he's good in the air. It's like you said, it's like watching Diego Costa, isn't it? But not with that.
Yeah.
Sort of attitude side to him, you know what I mean? He's just got that way. Yeah, maybe that will come. Maybe that will come. Big up to everyone here. Nearly 300 of you guys here combined. Big up to you guys. Make sure you're smashing the likes. Follow Minerals FC as well on YouTube as well. Go and show some love to him over there. Chelsea OG with the donation says, big up Chelsea men. Up the Chelsea, mate. Good win for us.
Up Chelsea OGs, my member. What a geezer. Big up to you, my man. Love and respect to you, geezer.
Before we won't go straight into, because we're going to obviously talk about the players themselves and do a quick player rate and stuff. I want to just quickly read some of the comments that we're just reading online on Twitter. And I didn't know this was going on. And before I went live, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to talk about it in an area. It's good that Johnny's here as well, actually, because we can both talk about these comments. And there's two sides to these comments. We're going to go to this one first, and I'll show you the other comments after. You got this comment from Vince saying that you can't praise Potter without some people thinking you are throwing jabs at Tuchel. What kind of mentality is that? Potter deserves to be praised. Please, I mean, do you expect me to stop praising Potter because Tuchel existed? That's not fair. All right. We had that comment. And then on the other flip side of this, we had this comment, which comes from CFC Pies. Where is it? Who says...
Pies and mash.
Fans are blinded by the last few months. Fans blinded by the last few months had chances in both domestic cups, cup final versus Liverpool, mistakes, and Lukaku sitter cost us the Real Madrid, won the UEFA Super Cup and the UEFA Club World Cup. Potter has a lot to achieve here to even get close to Tuchel. Just appreciate both. And the reason I brought up both of them comments, Johnny, is that I just don't get why we do it as Chelsea fans. I don't get why we've just had a great game and all of a sudden we're now comparing. You've got some fans comparing, saying Potter, this is this great manager that Tuchel never was, and this is why we're playing better. On the flip side, you've got people saying, well, he ain't no Tuchel, he hasn't won anything yet, half your gums. Do you feel it's just completely wrong how Chelsea fans are approaching or using both of these managers or comparing both of these managers up to this point? Because for me, I don't really understand why they're doing this. Why do we do this? Why do we compare? People forget. And we need to rewind to when Tuchel came to Chelsea and he took over, funny enough, against Wolves game and we drew 0-0 at home. Ever since that, we then went on to win games. We were becoming, we were not conceding, we were winning games. We looked good under him. And everyone was singing and praising him and comparing, not many people comparing to Lampard and this, that, and the other. But, it has that same sort of build up, if that makes sense. And it's too early to be sitting here and talking about Potter and comparing him to Tuchel. Like, them two things don't make sense to do as Chelsea fans. And the fact that we're going on Twitter and having these weird comments or exchanges on it doesn't make sense to me. Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, let's have it right. The Twitter platform and the accounts on Twitter, and you've just picked up two large accounts on Twitter. That is the clickbait festive season. They love to clickbait these lot. My thing is this, right? No one is going to replicate what Tuchel did. All right, what Tuchel did coming in 4 months, winning the Champions League, then going on to win a Club World Cup, Super Cup, and all this stuff. He had all the issues. No manager's going to go through the sanctions. No manager's going to go through. I think you could go through the serious injuries that we had, but we had really bad injuries in pivotal moments of our season. No one's really going to experience that. And I think for me, the sanction was the big one, and the Lukaku ratting, that the cement booted rat and what he done and the way he disrupted the team spirit. All right. These things Tuchel dealt with. He won trophies. He's got us into 6 finals. He's won 3 of those finals in a short space of time. Whether you like it or not, it was an inherited squad. All right. Lampard had a different achievement in the sense that he had a transfer ban. He lost Eden Hazard. He brought through a lot of the youth players, and he got us top 4. And then he had to integrate 7 first team players, which were our new signings, into a team where he sort of had a balance, and he couldn't quite do it because he didn't have the experience. Tuchel comes in, achieves what he does, and then Tuchel gets, in my opinion, he got shafted by the ownership, and I'm very upset that Tuchel's left. And Tuchel for me is a legend in what he's done and achieved. And there's no manager, no Pep, no Klopp, no Ancelotti, not even Fergie has done what Thomas Tuchel has done in the short space of time. And I think you have to respect that with Tuchel, what an elite manager is. Now we've sacked an elite manager, an elite gaffer, and the way he represented our club, and he loved our club, and everything went through, but he didn't have the same. He wasn't there to educate the new ownership, and what he deserved. He earned he earned the respect. He earned the trust, not only from the fans, but from these new owners anyway that come in. He's proved enough to say, "Give me what I want, and I'll deliver." Because I've already delivered with what I haven't been given. I've just been given a squad. You gave me a cement booted rat for 100 million. Who's ratting on me and my team, my players and the club and the owners. I've gone through sanctions. I've gone through all the shit, and I haven't been backed. And I'll say it how it is, Jem, because you know what I'm about with the brown envelopes. Listen, Tuchel didn't get none of these players that we signed were Tuchel signings. I want everyone to understand that. Now, there's a lot of big accounts that will tell you, yeah, they're all his signings. They're not his fucking signings. Sterling, Cucurella, Koulibaly, Fofana, these are not his signings. He wanted Marquinhos, he wanted De Ligt, he wanted Frankie de Jong, he wanted Rafinha, and he wanted Dembele, and he didn't get any of them. He didn't get any of them. So, Tuchel knew that he wasn't going to get backed and ended up falling out, and they got sacked. Now, Potter's come in now, and Potter has got huge potential. He's got a brand of football, a blueprint that is of high quality, attractive football, and it's something probably as close as Pep you're going to see in the world at the minute. And he's done that with a Brighton, sort of average Brighton team, and he's basically implemented that whole philosophy, and they've continued that philosophy with a new manager still playing that brand of football through the director Ashworth is their director, technical director, and he spoke about him being the center of the spokes of the wheel, and he's connecting all the spokes, and he's got that model. He's bringing the grassroots, he's bringing the first team, the scouting department, the philosophy of the club all together, and we haven't had that under Tuchel. We're now getting that under Potter with that Christopher fella from RB Leipzig, and we're building that, and we've got Graham Potter's whole team. What Graham Potter is doing right now has to be appreciated and respected, because he's coming in and inherited the team. But granted, I feel like a lot of these signings are his signings. They've been talking to Graham Potter for a long time. I think before the Cucurella deal, I think Tuchel got a whiff of it, and that's where the relationship broke down, and he realised he weren't getting back. Potter comes in very quickly. They sign him, and they give him a 5-year deal. Now, he's there for the longevity, for the long haul, and they're bringing in the backroom staff. They've got all his backroom staff, and he's got a philosophy, and we can see traits of this philosophy over the last 3 games for sure. I think the last 2 games, AC Milan and today at Wolves, we're starting to see the Potter rules in full motion, but only there's only moments of it. It's not like fluid yet because it takes time. But Crystal Palace, we got away with it with a wonder goal, and I think that was a catalyst to us performing against AC Milan. That was a catalyst to performing against Wolves today and controlling the game. Possession, high ball recovery, chance creations through the roof at the minute, and apparently we don't create with Minerals Mount. But anyway, so my thing is this: you can praise Potter without being disrespectful to Tuchel. No one's taken anything away from Tuchel. Now, I backed Tuchel right to the fucking end, and I called out Rory Jennings, George Benson, Nini's, all these fucking wrong-uns in the game with the platforms. Yeah, I've called them all out because they're Tuchel agenda. All right, they're all against Tuchel. They're all creating a narrative with the campaign against Chelsea, with the high-end media, Sky Sports, TalkSport, all putting pressure on Tuchel at the start of the season, right? He spent 300 million. He's done this. He's done that. Oh, the team's not playing. And then we got players turning against Tuchel, and I'll name 2 of them, Savić and Pulisic, who blatantly have turned against Tuchel. And now the board went against Tuchel and kept those 2 players. That's what they've gone and done. And Tuchel realised, I ain't getting backed here, so I might as well wait, get my payout of 70 million, and he's gone. But Potter has somehow done what Tuchel is doing, what Tuchel did when he first came in, and that's build unity, harmony. He's trying to bring the dressing room together. He's rotating the squad. Everyone's got a role to play, as we saw today. Everyone's got a role to play, but at the same time, you've got to remember about the manager bounce. You've got to remember about the players having to earn their right to play now. Yeah. And that's a key factor. Does that stay throughout the season? If a Pulisic doesn't start as many games, is he going to start moaning? Is Savić going to start moaning again, how they were under Tuchel? Are other players going to start bitching and moaning? And how's Potter going to deal with that? He hasn't had that test yet.
We already know that he has a diploma in man management, or with that's something that he's done himself. Something that maybe Todd Bowley's looked at and thought to himself, you know what, this might help in terms of, bringing players aside. And you got to remember one thing: it doesn't matter who you're managing and what you're the manager of. There's going to be players that are unhappy with managers all the time. It is purely mainly to do with game time. At the end of the day, managers can only pick 11 players, but the important thing is the balance and the understanding of trying to keep them happy and being involved and giving them game time, this, that, and the other. I think Graham Potter's got a lot on his plate in terms of this bunch of this crop of players, because I do feel that there's still certain players that do not want to be here, even under Graham Potter. I do feel that.
Yeah, they don't. Pulisic and Savić don't want to be at our club, guys. Well, I mean, that's clear as day.
But the Pulisic thing can change dependent on how he performs, on how he is from now moving forward. The Ziyech thing's done for me. He's not going to be here. Yeah, I think Jorginho will be gone next season. There's a couple of players that I feel are at the end of their careers anyway at Chelsea, and they're going to be moved on as well. We've heard about Kante potentially not staying as well and maybe going on and stuff. But at the end of the day, the reason I brought up them 2 comments was because I'm frustrated to see that when we play like we did today, and we had a good game today, that we then
want to bring negativity.
Yeah, like the negativity, but it's the comparisons all the time. Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to compare a manager that's played 4 games or managed 4 games with Chelsea to a manager that's just played the Champions League and had pretty much, when you look at the way we started, all right, we drew the first game, but then onwards, was consistently winning games, but in a different way. Maybe 1-0, 2-0, but we were a rock. We couldn't break us under Tuchel. We were so organised as a crop of players under him. It was 2 different ways of playing it, but it doesn't mean that what Potter's doing now was much better than what Tuchel was doing then. It's just a completely different philosophy is what I'm saying. So this is why we've got to stop comparing so early, especially when a manager's only been here for a couple of games. We need to see what happens with Graham Potter, because we are in the unknown. There's a massive unknown with Graham Potter. There's a massive unknown, because we don't know what to expect with Graham Potter, do we? Really?
Wins the Premier League, right? Yeah. Argument's sake, he goes and wins the Premier League this year. That ellipses Tuchel. I think even him winning the Champions League, if Potter wins a Champions League, then he's sort of like done what Tuchel's done to an extent. My thing is this: I think the owners have got a blame here, because they should have had the bollocks and minerals to sack Tuchel from the start, instead of doing it when the transfer window ended. And I think the reason they did it when the transfer window ended, because they were using his name as pulling power. Because let's have it right. Is Aubameyang, Sterling, Koulibaly all going to sign for Chelsea if Potter's in charge? They haven't got a clue who Potter is. But with Tuchel, it's a name, it's a brand, it's a glamour manager. It's an elite manager. He's proved it here. He's proved it at PSG. He's proved it at Chelsea. I think that's the difference, and that's where I think they bottled it. But at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, Chelsea is a football club. It's not Tuchel FC. It's not Potter FC. It's Chelsea FC. And we have to back this gaffer. And all this now that you're seeing, this clickbait, these clickbait merchants about, oh, you can't praise Potter without dissing Tuchel is nonsense, because I praised Tuchel when I wanted Lampard in the job and I backed Lampard to the end, and it's the same situation. All right, I did say that Lampard's achievement in a way was better than Tuchel's, because Tuchel's elite and what he's done, and he won the Champions League. But Lampard getting top 4 transfer ban, no Eden Hazard, bringing up youth and no experience from just the Derby Championship team was incredible for what he achieved at such a high jump to Chelsea. It's a higher jump than Potter from Brighton to Chelsea, what Lampard did. Lampard went from a championship team with 1 year experience to Chelsea, getting them top 4 is huge. Is huge. Tuchel comes in, inherits the squad, and he wins the holy grail of a trophy, the bigger trophy, the Champions League. And everyone's like, oh yeah, it's just a purple patch. It's not really a purple patch, because after that, we won the other 2 trophies. We got into 2 other domestic finals, and he had all the shit on the top of that with Lukaku, injuries, contract negotiations between Christensen, Rudiger, all over the papers and the press. You had players with Chilwell out and all that. You had his personal life, Lukaku documentary, and the sanctions. A lot of issues last season. It was the most toxic time to be Chelsea fan. It was the worst period. It's almost like this. How it is, yeah. I'll say how it is with the fan base. They're very quick to forget. They're very quick to forget things that have happened. They're very quick to forget when I bring up Mount and Kai Havertz, what they achieved and what they've done at Chelsea to win the Champions League and the Club World Cup. They're very quick to forget all that. Oh, it's all in the past, but our past is part of our history. You can't erase the history of our football club. Tuchel is part of our history of our football club. So you can't compare that to Potter, because Potter hasn't achieved anything yet. All he's achieved is coming in and winning 3 games on the bounce. That's nowhere near what Tuchel's achieved. So the only way you can compare, you shouldn't compare. That's my point. This is the point, Jem. What they do. This is what these Pies and Mash and these fucking Vinces and all these large accounts is what they do, is they create this conversation that doesn't need to be a conversation. It doesn't need, there's nothing, it's all negative. You see, they thrive, it's like AFTV, they thrive on negativity, yeah? Let's have it right. That's how they got so big, because Arsenal were seen as the champions, challenging with Man United all those years, and then they went fucking to pot, and then they fed off the negativity, they fed off losing games, they make the money off that. He goes and buys a Bentley every time Chelsea lose a game, yeah? Arsenal lose a game. He goes and buys a Bentley or a Lambo or whatever, because he's milking the fan base. All right. This is what these guys do. You don't get big on positivity. That's what I do on my channel. I'm positive about my football club. I'm positive towards my players, even if I don't think they're good enough, I'll back them. Yeah. All right. But the fan base and the large accounts and the YouTubers on the big platforms don't fucking do that. Their narrative is always, let's be negative. Because that's what gives you the clicks, and that's what people in the fan base need to understand, bruv. Is that it's about we've got a platform and a voice, and we have to support our club against the campaign against Chelsea, because all the rival fans are part of the campaign against Chelsea. All the top tier platforms, the media platforms, all your brown envelopes. All of them, even the brand owners are reporting us, the Matt Laws, Simon Johnsons, and all these lot. They push out negativity. Simon Johnson, for example, goes, "Oh yeah, Barcelona are definitely going to beat Chelsea in the Champions League when we play them." Matt Law coming out with negativity about our players and about our football club. Fuck all that nonsense. This is the stuff that people feed into. All right, and you're a glutton for that punishment. You clickbait it. All right, you got to be positive about Chelsea, because if we're not positive as our fan base, then forget getting it anywhere else outside of Chelsea Football Club, because you ain't getting it. It's a full campaign against Chelsea. It's full on.
So do you know what's funny? You saying that today? There was a comment. I was sitting there and I thought, you know what, we're 3-0 up, and I saw this comment come up from Nizar Kinsella, right? And it did trigger. I don't get triggered. I am very calm usually, yeah. But there is certain people that will say things, and I'm just like, why? Nizar Kinsella, after we're winning 3-0 up against Wolves today, came out with this comment: Adama has caused damage down the flank all game. If Wolves has a striker with games in their legs, then Chelsea would be struggling a lot more.
Yeah. So what are you bringing that up for, bro? He's a Man United fan.
I don't
but
get
he's
that.
a Man United fan. What do we care about his opinion? Like Matt Law, what do we give a shit about his opinion? Listen, let's have it right. When Tuchel was going through that period before, do you know what he said when we got rid of Lukaku? He goes, oh, Tuchel's got a lot of pressure now. He's going to have to find the right man to get the job. Fuck off. We don't need that. Do you know how negative Lukaku was at our football club? Do you know how many brown envelopes were pushing Lukaku and the whole Lukaku fucking narrative and the propaganda for a guy that's ratted our football club? That's fucking shit. That scored 15 goals that everyone wanted instead of Haaland. Haaland scored 20 odd goals this season and he's played like 9 or 10 games or whatever, 12 games.
We know
and
this.
this Lukaku's gone and done what he's done, and he's scored 1 goal against Plymouth and Chesterfield. Everyone's blowing his trumpet after he ratted our football club. Fuck that. And all these brown envelopes are pushing this shit. It's ridiculous. My response is another one of these brown envelopes.
My response to that was I had to respond to it because I just found it ridiculous. And it was like he's one of their best. Basically, my point was you're talking about a player who is probably one of their best players and is going to have moments like Leao did against Chelsea the other day until we went a bit quiet in the second half.
By Reece James.
But my point is, these players are going to have moments because they're good players. It doesn't mean that because these players are having moments in games, who are playing quite decent. Oh, if we had someone at the end of that, it would have been a problem for Chelsea. Like it's like we instead of just being happy for what we're seeing, it's like let's just find something that we can just make up and just say for the sake of saying it and just talk.
For example,
that's what they've done. Like, why are they doing that?
Middles Mount got 2 open play assists, 2 world-class assists, in my opinion. I thought the second one was that was KDB, so-called, the hipsters say KDB levels, the vision, back to goal, back to the player, to play it through a needle through a haystack like that. Minerals general that he is, open play assist to get the second goal to kill the game. And the first assist to dink it over and to get Kai Havertz on the header, and right before the end of the first half to go in 1-0 up. 2 pivotal moments where he landed Minerals, who was the man of the match. But they'll go, oh, but it's only against Wolves. But what they don't say is how many times have we beaten Wolves at home? When was the last time we beat Wolves at home? And the last time we beat Wolves at home was under Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard in his first season.
Yeah.
So it was a banana skin. They've sacked their manager. You can fall after that. You can get there was a draw in this game. You got Diego Costa. They do have threat. They got Prudence as well. He's a bit of a baller. He's got some minerals in him. Yeah. And we shut them down. We cleaned them up. We battered them 3-0. We scored at the right moments. All right. These are the positives in the game. There's no need to compare.
But that's my point. Why,
yeah, but they're clickbaiters, bro.
Why, when we are playing well, do we have to do this? Why can't we just go good game? Just base on this game specific. Like, just say, they're doing well. They don't. Why do we say, oh, well, Adama had the ball a lot and he did give Cucurella some problems today. He did. There were moments down that wing where he found it a bit hard, Cucurella.
Yeah, but they're having a dig at Cucurella because Chilwell's not playing. It's all agendas.
Maybe, whatever. But it's just very weird to then say, well, if they had a better player on the pitch, that could maybe put it in the back and net, and make it hard. This is not getting anyway. Let's move on back to the game because
can I say this, Jem? Yeah, you asking the question, why does this happen? Why don't we ask Pies and Mash? Why don't you ask Vince? Why the fuck they're tweeting it? Because the moment they tweet it is the moment you have the conversation. If no big account tweets it, you ain't having that conversation. So they're the culprits. They're the kingpins to start this conversation, and they're in the mud for it. It's wrong.
Going back to the game, obviously, when I first saw the lineup, I was pretty shocked. I'm not going to lie to you. There was a couple of players that came in. I was like, is he all right? Like, why so many changes, and why has he done that? And obviously, what we're going to do now is we are going to quickly do a quick player rating, guys. There's over 350 of you guys here combined. Big up to every single one of you who are here. But make sure that you're smashing the likes, guys. Let's get these likes up. Let's get these likes up as quickly as possible. Subscribe to the channel, GNA TV, Chelsea Fans TV, Minerals FC as well. And we're going to start doing a quick player rating, going back to the game. And then we'll talk about a little bit about the game after as well and how we thought we played. But let's fly through these individual player ratings. You guys in the chat get involved as well. Give your ratings, give your thoughts. We'll bring them up. Put your super chats in as well. We're going to start with Kepa because obviously Mendy's been benched, it seems, for this guy. And, I'm going to say it as short and as sweet as this. In what I've seen in Kepa under Graham Potter, I kind of get why he's starting. And I think when you look at his distribution with the ball, how quick he gets off up the pitch when the balls get played over the top, like today, where he looked very comfortable in doing so. I don't think Mendy can do that from what we've seen. I don't think that is his game specifically. And
We
when
haven't
you
seen
look at
Mendy in this this manager
well,
yet.
no, we haven't. But what I'm trying to say at the moment is looking at the specifics of what we've seen of Kepa in the Chelsea team. It seems that he's seeing a lot of the ball and he's distributing it quite well. Yeah. And at the same time, he's able to get up, when we play in the high line, he's able to cover the space behind the defence because, he looks pretty quick and he covers the space. However, I haven't seen a game with Kepa in goal, other than maybe the Palace game, where he's been tested enough for me. And I'm talking about actually making consistent saves throughout the game, goal-winning saves, for example. I haven't seen that yet. And I know people are crying that Kepa should be it now, and this is why he should have this, that, and the other. And I do still sit on the fence when it comes to him, because I do feel that one part of his game is very good, but the other part of his game, I'm still not sure in it. And I'm talking about corners, because he didn't look comfortable again today when he came out for one and he fell on the floor, completely missed the ball. Yeah. But other than that, in terms of shots and making saves, he can make an odd save here and there, but I haven't seen us come up against a team who are actually testing us enough.
Well,
or
in his
him
defence,
enough.
I'd say in his defence against AC Milan, that save he made in I think it was the first half, was it? Or no, second half. And yeah, I know, but that's all they had.
But that's my point. My point. We're not going to play teams. We're not going to continuously play teams throughout the season where we're not tested multiple times through the game, or we're just not playing.
You're only going to get those against your Man Cities, potentially against Real Madrid, teams like that of that high level. But let's have it right. AC Milan are the reigning champions of Serie A. I know they had injuries, but Leo caused problems. If Kepa doesn't make that save, that goes 1-1 and the game changes.
I agree.
When he's called upon in that situation, he's landed the minerals. Today again, it was 1-0 and he made that save on the free kick. That could have been a 1-1.
Yeah.
He's delivered. He hasn't. Look, I think what you're saying is he hasn't been tested properly.
No, I don't think that's what I'm saying. He hasn't been properly tested in terms of multiple.
Credit to the way we play. But that's credit to the way we play.
No, I agree. But what I'm again saying to you is, let's be serious. We played the Wolves and an AC Milan team who are both missing some top players. They were good players on the pitch, but they weren't missing some real key players. Both of them, big players in them 2 games. Crystal Palace.
Who were they missing?
Well, no, AC Milan were missing. Yeah. AC Milan were missing about 3 or 4 players.
Who were they?
I have to get them up. I'll ring them out.
You had Tonali in there, who's meant to be this wonderful player. You had Leo in there. You had Tomori playing at the back. Who else? Who's their big players?
So they were missing. All right, so they were missing. Let's have a look. So they were missing Rebic. They were missing Ibrahimovic. They were missing
Ibrahimovic. Fucking hell,
well, he still scored goals, didn't he?
But he's a pensioner now, isn't he? I mean, unless you give him real time and space, he's not really going to hurt you.
I thought they had Jalhanoglu, to be honest, but I think he's gone into Milan, isn't he? I might be wrong. Again, he's a big player for them as well. If he is, I don't know if he's still in the team or not. But
I think Theo Hernandez is a big one.
Theo Hernandez is a big miss in the back. Yeah. I mean, with Brahim Diaz playing,
big one.
I don't think, was Diaz in the team? I didn't see him play, and he's a good player for them. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but my point is,
but at the end of the day, you beat what's in front of you, and they're reigning champions, so they must have a squad. You know what I mean?
No, they do. They do. Look,
it's Serie A tax. It's not a strong league anyway. But go on.
That isn't a strong league. But when you look at the squad itself, it's one of the things of, I think our squad as an overall play. But I'm talking about defensively, midfield, wing backs. I thought we all just played very well in them games. And that was part of the reason why we see the performance we did. But with Kepa, I just feel that we do need to see more of him. That's all. Today I thought he was a 7.5. I'll give him that. Anything you want to say on him before we move on, Johnny, from Kepa?
I think he'd done his job well. He had a little shaky moment in the second half where he just about got away with it. Apart from that, he was pretty tick-tock. I think you got to credit he's got another clean sheet. We could have easily conceded a goal from that free kick or from a corner because he's not great on corners, whereas Mendy's great at catching the ball.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'll give him an 8 out of 10. He's done his job and he's done it very, very well. You know, in the end of the day, he got a clean sheet. You got to respect that.
Yeah,
but what I want to say though is everyone's very quick to diss and come at Mendy and like he's all of a sudden he's shit. All right,
yeah,
and that's what I'm saying about the fan base is that they forget about what the performances that Mendy put out against Real Madrid, the fucking world class saves he made against Benzema to keep us in the game, and certain games where he really against Man United, you know,
is Kepa making them saves? Is Kepa making them saves? Well, I'm not too sure. That's my thing. You know,
right,
like
so I think Kepa has the ability to make those saves with confidence, but Kepa's confidence has been in the mud for God knows how long. And I think Potter's trying to rejuvenate him psychologically because that's very important to get the best out of a goalkeeper. If you lose it psychologically, you're fucked. Now, Mendy clearly has lost a lot of confidence. Last year when I was at West Ham away, that performance there was for me the start of him having a shaky performance, and it somehow continued throughout to the start of this season under Tuchel. And I think Mendy hasn't been great, but there's things that Mendy are clear of Kepa at.
That's my point. They both have their weaknesses and strengths, and where Kepa's strengths are is the ball at feet and distribution. I think he's very good at it. You know, he keeps showing that he's good at it, and that will I say Potter will like. I think Potter will like a lot of from his goalie. But we move on from that. We go on to Cucurella, who came in for Ben Chilwell as well. Had a bit of an hard game, but overall, I thought Cucurella was again, you know, Traore is not the easiest player to come up against, you know. But when you look at what I like about Cucurella is he's progressive, he's direct, he plays the ball in quick, he's, you know, he gets stuck into tackles. I think he's just an all-round very good player, and he played left centre back today. For me, done a good job defensively along with Koulibaly and Chalobah. You know, we've got two great left backs, whatever it is that you want to call these players. They are top players that are in this squad. And for me, I would probably give him another 7.5 today for Cucurella. What about you?
I thought Cucurella was very good. I think he got done a little bit by Traore, but Traore didn't really do anything from it anyway. So I'm not going to take that away from Cucurella. I think Cucurella, the only thing I'd say in his defence is that he's been out for a couple games. He's come back in playing a full 90 as a left centre back. Well, he was sort of left back, left centre back, wasn't he? It was a bit of both for me in this game. But for me, I felt that Cucurella, where he was let down, he's very good at his direct forward passes, but he gave away too many of them. And it was only due to our midfield, Mount, Gallagher, quick ball recovery that we got away with it. Other than that, I thought he was fantastic. So I'd give him about a 7.5. Yeah.
I agree. Good. I think someone that deserves to be, or we're going to talk about anyway, but deserves, again, a big mention. I looked at his stats earlier on in the show, which we spoke about. Over 300 of you guys here. Big up to every single one of you guys. Hit that like button. Hit the likes. Let's get these likes over 100 as quickly as possible. Kalidou Koulibaly with no Silva, no Fofana. Been getting a lot of criticism from rivals as he does anyway, because they question his ability at his age, if he's still got it. Some Chelsea fans have maybe felt that he's not performed at a high level. I think he's been very good so far, and in this game today, I thought he was immense. I do. When you think about experience, leadership qualities, leading by example from the back, Koulibaly, and we know he's a bit reckless sometimes. He has his moments. We've seen it, but today everything he did was just spot on. You know, the way that he presses the ball, the way that he's quick, he's aggressive, he gets stuck in, his passing ability, his range of passing so quick, and you know so. You know what I mean? Like everything, I love that. I love everything about what we got with Koulibaly. And if anyone don't rate him or thinks that he's well past it, I think you guys need to have a look at yourselves, to be honest. I think Koulibaly is a solid, I thought he was an 8 for me today. I thought he was that good. It could have even been an 8.5. I thought he was that good today. I mean, Johnny, what's your thoughts on Koulibaly?
Well, I think today was a big moment for Koulibaly because he played the centre of the three, and in the two, he was the commanding one with Trev. He had an inexperienced Trev on his right. He had a Cucurella that's just come back from being out for 2 games from injury, and he commanded that back line and defended very, very well. Progressive, very good at progression, very good at closing down. Didn't let anyone win any duels on him. He landed the minerals, Koulibaly. Yeah, let's have it right. He's a beast. And I think him playing in that centre of the three fills me with a lot of positivity because it means we can rest Thiago Silva, knowing we've got a general at the back who can cover for Thiago Silva. And also we have to remember that, and I did tell everyone at the start of the season, he is a world-class defender. He has been at Serie A for many years, hence we tried to buy him. But the thing that people forget is that he's played Serie A for a long period of time. He needs time to adjust to the pace of the Premier League. Champions League, he can get away with it, yeah, because it can be a slower pace depending on who you're playing. But the Premier League is relentless, yeah, intensity, pace. It's never ending from the first minute to the end for the final whistle. And I think Koulibaly struggled with that in the last sort of 5-6 games, even under Tuchel, and we got caught out. And I think today was a big game for Koulibaly to show that he's got the minerals to lead the back line when Thiago doesn't play. So for me, he definitely easily gets an 8. I'll maybe give him an 8.5.
Yeah, he was class. He is class. And you come out with something really big. The fact that he can come in for Thiago Silva, something that we've struggled to do when he's not been in the team, Silva, and ask for players to come in and cover Milan, Chalobah being played out of position in the middle, whatever. It just didn't feel right, you know. And having Koulibaly and the level and the class that he is, I think it's a strength in defence that we actually haven't had in a while. And I'm happy that he is at Chelsea. We're now going to move on to, and I spoke about him earlier on, and a lot of people heard how much I praised this young boy. And when he's played nearly, 26 or 28 games for Chelsea, and we've won 3/4 of them, or more than 3/4 of them, with him he's undefeated. He's never lost a game in the Chelsea shirt, and he's played 20 plus games. Trevor Chalobah. And people may say, well, he wouldn't have been given the opportunity if Fofana weren't injured. It's true, but he's been given the opportunity. And again, he's come in today, yeah, and he's shown, for me, he's showing maturity. He's showing that he's gaining experience. He's playing with top world-class players around him now. And this is one boy for the future. I'm telling you, this is a player, if we're going to stick with the back three and whatever, needs to be in this team. I like Trevor Chalobah. Yes, he has a mistake in him. Yes, he does, have them moments. Granted, he can have them moments. Only walked into the Chelsea first team last year, out the blue. No one even expects him to come in. He started off so well under Tuchel his first season, and then had a little bit of a blip because he had some couple of bad games, which I think he deserved, or I think he can have, coming into such a high level of football. But now, going into this season, he's played 2 games under Graham Potter. He's been solid. He understands his role. He's good with the ball. He's quick. He's good in the air. And he kept Podence very quiet the whole game. And him and Koulibaly, along with Cucurella, they just look very comfortable as a back three together for me. And I think he's a great player to have in the squad. And I think we should utilise him more. I think he's a player. I'm glad we didn't let go in the summer. I know there's talks about him going. I'm glad we didn't let him go. Because I would rather have him in the right centre-back area than Azpilicueta. And I keep saying this. I do. Today, for me, he was an 8. I thought again, he was very good, Trevor Chalobah. People should stop sleeping on him and saying, no, he's not Chelsea level or whatever. He's a good player to have at Chelsea.
Well, Johnny, they say that about all our common boys. Oh, they're not Chelsea level. We're all in fucking mud, them lot. They're all wrong uns. They've got an agenda against our own academy. It's piss poor. But for me, Trev is outstanding. Trev is outstanding.
Yes.
He's for me coming in with all the situations that he's had. Talk of him leaving, and he's fought for his place. He's come back in the side. And he's played fantastic. So for me, I give Trevor an 8.5. And he's a baller. He's got minerals. We all know that about Trev. Let's remind everyone when Trev against Liverpool in the final, where was it Cater that ripped his nutsack off and he's in a thigh, and he went in at half time and had stitches on his ball sack and his inside thigh, mate, and he came back on and he played the full 90, full extra time, and he took a penalty. That's what you call the damn minerals, and Trev's got them. So we need to back Trev, and I'm very happy for him because Fofana's out now for 4 weeks. He's got every opportunity to play games, and he's got the minerals. We know that. We know that about Trev. 8.5 potential. Yeah, I'll give him 8.9. 8.9.
I think it was just class, mate. I really do, and I think people should not sleep on him. And we need him. We need him. I think we need to have squad depth, and I think when he comes in and plays, when he hasn't even kicked ball and he plays like he has done, just shows how good of a player he really is for me. I want to go on to the wing back area, and obviously Azpilicueta played as a wing back today. A lot of people don't like to see it, including me. I've got to say he's not looked very good in that position even under Tuchel. To me, he's had some odd good games, but today the guy could have had 3 assists if people would have finished their chances. The amount of freedom he had down that wing to create in the first half, do his thing. He looked like he rolled back a couple of years, Azpilicueta, and he had on today's game. I thought he had a very good game for Chelsea. I would give him probably an 8 again, because I thought it could have been a bit more if they would have actually people that he'd set up who took their chances, Kai Havertz and others. But again, good performance. Can't knock him. And an 8 for me. What are you saying, Johnny?
Dave was outstanding today.
Yeah.
Dave was playing like he played 3-4 years ago. He balled out today. And let's remind everyone he played that unbelievable ball across where Kai Havertz was a bit too far in the central to get it, but Pulisic maybe if he was fitter would have anticipated the far post. That's a goal there. His link up play was fantastic. I think he put 2 or 3 cracking balls across. He was relentless in his recovery, pressing. He played it simply. He was quality. For me, Dave gets a 7.5/8. I'll give him an 8 because I think he hasn't even had any run up to this game, and he played like that. And he's at the age he's at. I think it's you got to credit that. Dave's a legend at our football club, and playing Wolves isn't easy. It's not easy for him not having any minutes. So 7.58 for Dave, and big up to the skipper.
There we go. We're going to move on to the midfield, and we're going to start with Jorginho, because he's another one that gets a lot of criticism. I think he's deserved some of his criticism, I'll be honest with you.
He's too slow, isn't he?
Yeah, at the same time, Johnny, I think we just kind of know with Jorginho, it gets boring being frustrated with him, because I think we just all understand what his weaknesses are. When he today took out that player in midfield because he got past him and he couldn't even get nowhere near him, so just kicked him to the floor. That just shows you it just shows you the weaknesses to his game. And today, he did try and move the ball forward quicker, in games. Sometimes I felt he did again take too many touches when I want him to just pass it quick when we're in transition. He intercepted quite well today. He got stuck in here and there like he always does. I do still feel that it's a weakness in our team. I think he offers something, but I just don't think it's a massive strength still in this squad for us. But he does do a job there for me. He does still do a job. He does still offer something in what he does. But from what we ask of him to do in that midfield, I don't think specifically Jorginho is the answer to Chelsea, and I do think he will go in the summer. However, I thought today he had a 6.5, maybe a 7 at the top whack. In terms of his performance, he wasn't absolutely poor, but again, you saw what he offers and what the weaknesses are to his game. So, what are your thoughts, Johnny?
Jorginho's got his flaws. When he plays well and the team's playing well around him, he can be world class. When he is struggling or the certain players aren't playing around him or protect him enough, he gets caught out and he goes off a cliff. The thing with Jorginho is you have to build a team around him. You have to. And he needs that extra protection. I think Potter did that by having Gallagher, Loftus-Cheek, and also Mount dropping in. And he had that extra protection because we didn't want to get overrun in midfield. He does try and play the ball quicker. I've seen that, but he doesn't do it continuously and consistently enough. He's lost the ball a few times. He tries to hold on to the ball too many touches. In the start of the season, up to the last few games, up to Crystal Palace, in fact, the geezer kills Mount, he kills Sterling, he kills Kai Havertz because he holds onto the ball too much. He doesn't release it quick enough when they're in the positions. And the transitional period is the problem in the Chelsea team. It's not the front line. And if you've noticed under Graham Potter that the transitional stage from defense to attack has been quicker, therefore our attack feeds off it because they're getting the ball in the right positions. And that's the difference between how we played at the start of the season under Tuchel and potentially at the end of this last season under Tuchel to playing under Potter, even with Jorginho. But he can only do it with Jorginho in certain moments. So this is the fundamental weakness of Chelsea, is the transitional period being too slow. And that's why Mason Mount struggles, because Mason Mount is so quick when it comes to positional play and getting into the pockets. That is the problem. But sometimes it does work, and sometimes we can score goals. But as you saw today, Jorginho played. We won 3-0. He didn't play against AC Milan, but we won 3-0. And you could arguably say that this game was a faster paced game, and Jorginho played in it. So it's credit to Jorginho. But he had Loftus-Cheek, he had Gallagher, he had Mason Mount, all there to help him out and recover the ball when he does lose it, or if he gets caught out, because he does run like he's underwater. Do you know what I mean? He isn't that. He's a sitter, but he's a metronome. He's not meant to be that Declan Rice destroyer, dictate the play, play the ball. You know, that pass that Mason Mount did against AC Milan, on left side to right. You know, can Jorginho, Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek do that? No. Kante, not really. So
I don't think they have
these
the
are
eye
the
for it.
problems. Well, this is the thing. That's why they want Declan Rice or they want a Bellingham, because they've got the vision and the fast pace, transitional play to pick out those passes as well as play short passes. Jorginho's more of a short passer, and occasionally he might give you that over the top sort of play. You know, he's got that in him. Like, but for me, Jorginho was a 7. I'll give him a 7 today.
Fair enough. Whether he starts on Tuesday, we'll have to see what happens with that. I am flying to Milan on Monday, so I won't be doing
the other shot. Sorry, big up to Lee there. He did. Jorginho actually had a good shot, didn't he? That's the first time I've ever seen him shoot. He did.
Even Graham Potter and the other guy that sits next to him got excited when he had that shot, because they couldn't believe he shot, to be honest. But another one that's it's really interesting, because I still don't feel he's a 6, and under Potter,
he's the Lewis and Ballack, bruv. That's what he is.
Yeah, he just. He looked good against Milan. He looked good today. You know, he looks, and he got rest. You know, he got taken off, which tells me Potter's liking him there at the moment, and he thinks that he's getting the best out of him in there. But you know, today again, I thought Ruben Loftus-Cheek had a decent game. I can't really think that he'd done much really, but the one thing I noticed with him more in this system is that it seems he plays further forward. It's like our midfielders play further forward when we have the ball. There's not really sitting deep. The defence moves up. We do leave quite a big gap behind the defence. But in terms of where Ruben Loftus-Cheek found himself today, he was further up the pitch. He wasn't deeper. He wasn't sitting as like a DM in that role and trying to play balls and whatever. He was asked to be more forward. And I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, the best of him is further forward, being progressive, finding them little tight passes into him where he can do like a little, you know, dribble and do a 1-2 with someone, create space. We saw bits of it today. However, I thought he had a good game again. For me, it was 7, maybe 7.5 in performance today. But it looks like maybe Graham Potter might favour him at the moment. I mean, what are you saying, Johnny?
Well, I think he's a good squad player. I think he's a very good squad player. I don't think that he excels in anything in particular. I think he's good at a lot of things, but he's kind of like one of them players you sort of have to build around a little bit and give him that 8-10 role, and he's not going to get that at Chelsea. So he's happy to fill in this void, this position, where he goes a little bit forward. He's playing the cover role, put it that way. He's playing that cover role of going forward to a certain point, but then stays and there's Gallagher or Mount to carry it on. My only criticism of Loftus-Cheek in this game was there was a big moment in the game when we were 0-0 and we broke the lines, we broke their press in the midfield, and Loftus-Cheek ran forward, carrying the ball, and he was fixated on Kai Havertz in front of him, who drew 2 central defenders. But what he didn't see is on the left-hand side, Mason Mount was in acres of space and would have been through on goal, one-on-one with a goalie, and we probably would have scored. Yeah. He didn't make that over-the-top pass, which was easy to make. And instead he went for the Kai Havertz pass. It's just that decision-making there, I expect from a 27-year-old who's got experience to make that with the technical ability that he's got to do that. Apart from that, and a few moments where he might have got caught out, I thought he was solid and he played his role well. And let's have it right, he's playing next to Jorginho. You know, he's not the fastest. And Loftus-Cheek ain't too fast himself. But he did very well to not get caught out or overrun in midfield. So for me, he gets a 7 as well.
Fair enough. Still over 300 of you guys here, man. Big up to every single one of you guys that are in the chat as well. Thank you for tuning in as always. Moving away from Ruben, we're going to flip on to, who do we have in front of them? Conor Gallagher and Mason Mount, didn't we? So let's talk about Conor Gallagher, because I really want to talk about it. I think Mount and Gallagher, especially in both their performances today. I thought Conor Gallagher had his best Chelsea game. I don't think that was hard to beat when you look at his past performances. Why was he better is the biggest question mark. And why he was better today was just that we were playing in more of a natural position. And what Graham Potter, I think, is trying to do, if we watch closely in terms of the tactics side, the tactical side of it, is that he's trying to accommodate the squad into where he can kind of play the system that he likes, but also play the players in their comfortable, natural positions so that they thrive from it. And what we saw from Conor Gallagher today was a player that is better, as we've all been saying, better further up the pitch again, but also using the energy. And him and Mount, and it's good that Johnny's here, actually, to be fair. And it's not going to wind him up. I promise you guys, it's not going to wind him up. It's not a wind-up comment. But him and Mount have certain similarities to their games. And I'll tell you what they are. Today, they both have the intensity to press the ball further up the pitch. And why Graham Potter played Mount and Gallagher in front of Ruben and Jorginho, and obviously behind Havertz as well, is that when we don't have the ball, the intensity from both them players, and we saw it whether it was in both close to each other, shutting the ball down, working hard to win the ball back quickly, or whether it's them both holding their positions, which is wide, one on the left, one off the right, and whatever, you know, they were offering energy when we were out of position to win the ball back higher up the pitch. And once they won the ball, they were now being effective with the ball, and they were playing the balls quicker, and they were linking up together well. They were trying to get the wing backs up the pitch. Like today, Conor Gallagher's performance overall was very good for me, and especially in the first half, I thought he stood out very well. Won the ball, got stuck in, made crosses. Could have scored, couldn't he? Really, with that little scuff shot that went past the post as well. You know, I saw a player that has the if we play him in the right position, has something that we actually don't have in this team at the moment, that we actually lack as well. And I'm talking about someone that actually can get the ball and actually look up and take shots from outside the box. I don't think there's many players in our team that do that, especially from the forward line. Maybe Mason Mount when he finds himself in the
Mount is the only one, but the problem with that is that Mount plays in so many multiple positions, whereas Conor will stay in that position to be able to do that more often.
But Conor does also kind of help Mount in that way and aid him in that way, because where you've just said Mason Mount has to worry about doing so many different things on the pitch, which maybe affects his game sometimes. Having a Conor Gallagher who has the same intensity, energy to hunt the ball, win the ball. You know, I'm not saying they've got the same playing style, but there's something about when I watch them both on the pitch that they kind of like mimic each other a bit in what they do. Like very good with the ball at their feet. They hunt the ball down. They're good at playing crosses in. Conor Gallagher's got a great cross. Mason Mount has the same. You know, they both offer something where I feel that they kind of complement each other. And I think Graham Potter's looking at that and maybe thinking maybe I can use both of these players not to be up against each other for a position, but also to actually fit them on the pitch together and we can benefit from their energy.
Well, this is the thing. They complement each other because they're not like each other. This is the point. I think the minimum requirement is to have the pressing, aggression, recovery. But what you do with the ball, what Mount does with the ball is different what Conor does with the ball. But Mount can do what Conor does. The thing is, what Conor gave you,
aren't they?
Conor gave you in the middle. He gave you the recovery, but what Conor did very well was he played it simply. He didn't try too hard. He didn't try too much. So it looked effective and it worked for the team, making the right pass at the right time. When Conor was out of position, Mount would go out and help him out and vice versa. So they would switch positions. And that's very important as a team. Conor has still a lot to learn in terms of the understanding of the game at this level for a club like Chelsea, and that will come. But I thought he had one of his best games today, minus the moment against Crystal Palace with a fucking great goal. Yeah, let's have it right. But he has got the ability to score the goals, just on the edge of the box, the outside box, like Mace does. But I think if Conor's got that position where he can sort of sit and help out the midfield, it relieves Mason Mount to be able to be creative and have that free roaming role, which is what you need to give Mason Mount, that 8-10 role. And as we saw today, Conor allowed that in a way because Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek on their own ain't enough. It's just you would be too exposed in the middle. And I think Conor needs to get a lot of credit for that.
I think they both did the job though of getting up and down the pitch. I saw Mount covering Cucurella down the left so many times, having to help him, because Traore was giving him problems all day. And like what I'm trying to get to is that maybe they are different in style. I get that, but my thing is that in what they offer, they kind of, with their energy, give us a lot on both sides because they are, for me, very energetic up and down the player pitches, up and down the player type of players that bring energy, that win the ball, and then
that's why Tuchel said. Yeah, that's why Tuchel said he sees Conor as like a Kante filler. And if you watch Conor, the position he played was actually a position Kante would play, which is that
higher press,
destroyer, high presser, get the ball, carry it a little bit, progress it a little bit, and continue to get the ball back if we lose it. That's what Conor did.
Yeah, he's more effective than Kante in the final third of his decision making.
And he's younger and he's less injury prone. So that's what Tuchel meant. But Tuchel didn't have, where people misconstrue is, Tuchel didn't have the option to play Gallagher really in that role with a Kovacic because Kova was injured, Kante was injured. So all he had to do was play with Georgie, and that's a disaster, a recipe for disaster. But for me, Conor, he played very well. I'll give him. I'd
probably give him a 7.5, maybe an 8.
No, I'd give him higher than that.
8, maybe.
I'd give him 8.5.
8 from Xavi saying there. Well, 8 from Xavi, we've got 8 from Stephen. Johnny's given us an 8.5. Yeah, I just thought he was very good today. And, I can see what Potter's trying to do in terms of getting, playing his system, but also playing a system where the players are benefiting from it by playing the position that they understand. And what we saw today...
You have to pick your moments in this, depending on your position.
But do you know what the problem with...
Learn to pick his moments, when to have a crack, when to sit, when to recover, when to play it simple, when to go for a risky pass. That will come with game time and experience with the Potter. Whereas Mount is levels above that with that now. But that will come with Conor. And Conor's an exciting player, and he is something. He's different to Mount because Conor is that you saw at Crystal Palace. He's a work engine, but he's got an eye for goal. And
he needs time.
Mount has as well, but Mount scores all types of goals. Connor's that sort of running a little bit late, a bit Lampard-esque, if you like, running a little bit late, and he'll have a crack and he'll hopefully score a goal. And we saw that misplaced pass from Pulisic, which was behind Gallagher, and he got his feet together, got the ball in position, he had a crack and he scored. He'll take those shots. We haven't got anyone in the midfield that has the ability to do that because Mount is always playing in the front line. So that's the difference.
That's a benefit.
That's the benefit. Yes, big benefit. Yeah.
Big benefit. So going on from Conor Gallagher, we're going to go on to Mr. Money, Mason Mount, Minerals, General. cemented whoever he wants to cement.
He's the
Number
Minerals General,
19.
Minerals Mount. Yeah.
Look, again,
Baller.
he's had a lot of stick this season. Let's be serious, because some people feel that he hasn't played to the standards that he has played in past seasons. I can kind of see it to a degree in what I've seen of him. Don't get me wrong. Whether it's down to tiredness, whether it's what was asked of him to do, maybe
Nothing
what Johnny
to do
said,
with
where
him.
he played
No,
too many
it's nothing to
positions
do
in the
with him.
team, he doesn't see the best.
It's the
So
deficiencies in the team. Yeah.
maybe, yeah. Whatever that is, what I'm saying is we haven't seen the best of him. But today, I said it earlier on in the show, when it comes to Mason Mount, and you looked at his stats, and I looked at his stats specifically today, Mason Mount's, he was very good
Balling.
in terms of his
Yeah,
assists, in terms of his work rate, in terms of his passing, in terms of his ability to move the ball quickly in transition. He, defensively, he worked hard for the team. He done his job very well. His all-round game today was very good, and that is the Mason. What we saw today is the Mason Mount that we've been seeing and have seen in the last 2 seasons at Chelsea, and that's what I think we want to see more of. And I think playing him in the position that we played today, and we had a free, and we sort of switched to a 4 at the back as well, but allowing him to kind of have that 10 sort of freedom role, drop deep, work hard, get down the wing, go in the middle, do what he does, sort of thing. But being progressive and playing the ball into him quickly so that he can be more effective, going the other way, we'll get the best out of this guy. And people that don't rate him and think he should be benched and all this stuff, we've seen it so many times this season. People saying, "Oh God, Mount's starting," which I find a bit stupid. Don't get me wrong, there's been games where I feel maybe he could be rested, I'll be honest. But from what we're seeing of him today, he goes to show his quality and what he possesses. The same as the next guy we're going to talk about, Kai Havertz. People talking about selling him, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But he was good today, Mason Mount. I mean, I need to ask you twice, but for me, he was an 8.5 today, Mason Mount. What was your thoughts on Mason Mount?
Well, let's have it right. I think the criticism on Minerals Mount has been disgusting. I think you've got to understand the transitional stages and phases are so slow that it kills our team. You've got to understand all the problems Tuchel had, the injuries we had in the midfield, everything that has basically hindered Minerals Mount. It's affected him and his performances. But what he gives, a minimum, is always a 7 out of 6, 7 out of 10 minimum, just for his passion, work rate. What he gives, the pockets he gets into, the link-up play. The fact that he hasn't got any GA, I want to land this one just to remind all the Muppets out there, yeah? But he's produced the most key passes than any player in our team this season. He's on 17 key passes. We've got Raheem Sterling on 13, James on 10, Cucurella on 10. And then they'll say, oh, he's playing every game. Well, let's do it per 90. And per 90, Minerals Mount is on 2.1. Yeah, which is again the highest because it doesn't change the matter. Sterling's on 1.4, James on 1.1. Yeah, so even him, so-called being out of form with no GA, his influence in the game, he's delivered passes in these games and no one's finished them. That's not his fault. He's doing his job, but people don't want to see it. Today, what we saw today was the glue of the team, the Minerals General that he is. There was no Reece James for everyone to fall back on because Reece James didn't play. And when you talk about everything running for a specific player, Minerals Mount is that player. Because what he did today was he gets a 10 out of 10 alone for the back to goal blind open play assist alone. He's got 2 open play assists, everything run through him. His recovery, pressing, speed of play, getting into the pockets, occupying pockets to block the Wolves' connection to defence and midfield to defence. He was there. He was everywhere. He was covering any player that needed to be covered. He worked. He had a nip to him, a real spring in his step. His passing was exceptional. In the Milan game, he balled out in the Milan game, whether anyone wants to say it or not, but I see it. The way he occupied the pockets and he blocked their channels for AC Milan to play through the middle of the park. They had to go wide, right or left, because Mount would occupy the pockets playing the front 3 and he forms in the midfield 3. This is why he's man of the match today, because he came off with 20 minutes to go and you saw a difference in the way we played. We didn't look as threatening, in my opinion, when he came off. We didn't look as unpredictable, but we had enough in our locker at 2-0 up to create a few chances, and we scored that Broja goal because we had them open, really. They had to come at us. But the moments he made those open play assists was right before half time, where we scored 1-0 up. If we went in there 0-0 at half time, it wasn't a good look with the amount of chances we created. And then in the second half, early start of the second half, he created that unbelievable world-class open play assist to Pulisic, for Pulisic to dink it beautifully.
Lovely ball that was, and he didn't even look, to be fair.
That ball, he didn't even look, and he knew where he was. Yeah. And it was a very, like I say, a needle for a haystack kind of ball. It was just right, it had to be precise, and it was. The precision minerals was there, yeah. And he landed it with back to goal, was Cruyff, Johan Mount style, mate. That is Johan Mount, minerals, yeah. And he landed that to make it 2-0. So with Mount, we've killed the game at the end of the half, and we killed the game in the second half to control the game completely and go and get the third goal. Yeah, happy bonus. We would have won that game. But that pass was just sublime. And anyone will take it away. He played against Wolves, but it doesn't matter who you play against. Haaland's banging in goals against shit teams as well, but you're raving about that. So what's the difference? It's, at the end of the day, it's Premier League level. It's the best league in the world, wherever you score. And let's have it right. Last season, Mason Mount started like this last season. He didn't get any GA for a little while, yeah? And then he ended up getting 29 GA, best out of anyone in our squad player of the season. So all the haters are there to hate, yeah? They're all there to hate. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Someone's copying your advert
now because they just want to have a laugh, don't they? But
do you know what I mean? Yeah, go on.
He's a baller, mate. He's a baller, 10 out of 10, man of the match all day long.
We're going to go on to Kai Havertz. But I want to ask you this real quickly. And I don't want it to be too long when you answer this. I just want you to just give me a quick answer to this. With Mason Mount, when you look at him, when you try and narrow down what his particular strength is in the team, or what his actual main ability is as a footballer in Chelsea, do you think it's one of things, or do you think it's the fact that he's just very good at doing a number of different things, if that makes sense? Because when you look at certain players, you know, they're either very good dribblers or they're very good at something. Is Mason Mount a player that is just very good at doing, I'd say just good at doing multiple things? Or do you think that he has the ability, a very good ability in one sort of things, that makes sense?
He's exceptional in everything. There's not a player in world football at 23 years old that can play 6 positions. He's got everything in his locker, and he's only 23. He's not the finished article, yet he's doing something at such a highest level. He's been touted as the most talented to come out of the academy ever.
I mean, Reece James is probably up there as well. I mean,
Reece is up there, but Mason Mount, I know, has been for a long period of time been touted as the best, most talented player. He's the hardest player to play against. If you ask any opposition players, who's the hardest player you play against, and when you talk about Mason Mount, his positional play is so hard to track. He's very fast thinker. He's very intelligent for a young age. He's a leader. He's got a shot outside the box, scored outside the box goals. He scored that volley against West Ham. He's got all types of goals. He's got everything in his locker. He's got his highest chance creation. I think he's 4th in the league last year with all the stats, which is remarkable for the season we had in the league, which was shocking in the league. We weren't very good. And yet, without you take away Mason Mount, you ain't getting there.
So you think he's good at a number of things, not just has the ability to do one thing very good, is what I'm trying to say. Because when I look at Mason Mount, I don't look at him as a player that I go like you put him in a team. I kind of look at him as a player that can do a number of things. I don't put him in a team and think I can only do one really good thing for this team. Does that make sense? Like, he's a player that has the ability to do multiple things. It's just, can he be consistent at the highest order to continue to do that?
He's a hybrid, as he's been compared to these players I'm going to name. He's a hybrid of Scholes, Lampard, Cruyff. That is what he's a hybrid of those 3 players. That's what he is. He's got the speed of thought, the technical ability, like a Cruyff. He's got the street player controlling the game like a Scholes. He can play various positions more than any of those players. He can play right forward, like right wing, left wing. He's played in a bit of the false 9. He can play 8, 10, and a 6. There's no player in the world that can do that. Yeah,
He can't play a 6 for me.
Yeah,
I'll
he
be
has
honest with
played.
you.
Listen, he
No,
played
but
in the
he
friendly.
can't.
No,
He
listen,
can, but
let's
he
have it
can't
right,
play.
Jem.
Can he?
He played
He's
in a
not.
friendly against in under Tuchel in America, and he outplayed Jorginho in the 6. He was man of the match,
Yeah, but
scored a goal.
he's not on
Half
6
turn
though.
was ridiculous.
Yeah,
What?
but he's not an actual like. I wouldn't play him as a 6 because the reason I wouldn't play him as a 6 is that I don't think he has the. I think number one, it limits what he is actually good at doing.
No,
Which
I
is
think when
further
he's younger, when he's older, sorry, like a
Yeah.
Scholesy was dropped into that sitting role as he got older, and that's what I think Mount will be in the future. But right now, he's got all the energy and all the legs to play further up
Yeah,
in
he
more
should be
offensive.
further.
But
That's where he's more effective.
he's an 8. He's an 8/10. That's his orthodox position. He's a player you have to build around, and every manager, Lampard, Tuchel, and now Potter are all building around him. But
Well, they all
when you
play
talk
him,
about
don't they? They all
what's
play
that?
him. They don't. They all play him. He never gets dropped by any of
Because
these managers that comes in.
he's
So
elite.
that
He's
must
elite.
mean something in some sort of way. You know, in many ways. But there has been games where there has been games where he has been poor. You know, he's had his moments. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, he has been very good. I think, especially in the first 2 seasons that he came to Chelsea. You know, he's been probably arguably one of our best players, or if our best player for. In them periods as well. I can agree with that to a degree, but he does still have moments where I feel maybe he shouldn't be playing.
He's only
Maybe he should be on the pitch.
21 to 23.
He
I think
is,
he started his Chelsea career back in the 19 years old, going into 20s. Yeah. And now he's 23. He's in his what's he in now? He's in his 4th season now.
Yeah. 1, 2,
And
3 years.
let me remind everyone, yeah. And I think this year he's going to excel in his GA. He will excel, and he will do better than last season. And for the first 3 seasons, he's beaten Lamps on every single statue, goals and assists. I think the only thing he missed out on last season, Lamps got 15 goals, and I think Mace got 14 last year. So he was a goal short, but he got. But he got this is across the board. Lampard and Mace across in all comps. That Mason Mount has beaten Lampard for 3 seasons on goals on GA. Yeah, go and check it. And also last season he got what's that?
Talking about in his first 3 seasons. You're talking about, but you're comparing them.
Mason Mount is 2. I'm comparing Mason Mount 2 years younger than Lampard, playing for Chelsea first 3 seasons. Because Lampard played at West Ham, he went to Chelsea, and I think it was the 4th season Lampard started breaking records, you know, in the sense of for a midfielder to score so many goals. I have to check. I think he got 18 goals the 4th season. Mount was a goal short last season. But my point is, 2 years younger than Lampard, he's exceeded, I think, by over 20 GA or 18 to 20 GA more than Lampard over 3 seasons, which is incredible.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that at some point. But interesting
stats.
I
tweeted it out. I tweeted it out.
Yeah. Let's go on. Let's move on from him. Let's go on to Kai Havertz, because that's another player that has been getting a lot of stick. Some people say, what is he good at? What does he offer? What is he? Who is he? In many ways, you know, he has had moments where he's disappeared out of games and he hasn't been effective, and he can be frustrating. And I'm a massive Kai Havertz fan. I've always have been a Kai Havertz fan. I still think there's a player in Kai Havertz. I think, again, there is, in many ways, a bit of a short thread in terms of time in what he has to do at Chelsea. And if we're going to get the best out of this guy, I do feel he needs to continue playing, whether if it's not as a striker, which I don't think he will do throughout the season anyway, he needs to be playing off the striker. And that's where you will see the best of Kai Havertz. But today, you know, he scored his goal. He could have maybe had 2, potentially 3 goals today, but he scored today. And the first goal is always important, you know, and it was a very good finish, a great assist from Mason Mount as well to pick him out on his head. You know, it was just, you know, the second half, he just looked better for me. You know, he's doing flicks off the ball into Mount. And, you know, again, I keep stressing, and I've been saying all last season as well, we're not going to see the best of these players if we're not progressive and we don't move the ball quick enough. Today, what did we do? We were progressive and we moved the ball quick. We fed them, we got the ball into them, we gave them more of the ball, you know, and we got them more involved in the game. But now it's about how consistent can these players be in their performances. You know, we need them to be consistent. They need to keep playing the way that that the coach is telling them to play. They have played against AC Milan, against Wolves. Kai Havertz is another one that needs to show consistency. He does, But at the end of the day, you can't deny his talent. I mean, me and Johnny, I've been saying it for ages, along with Johnny. This guy's talent is something again we do not have in his team. And I know Lewis and others come out saying, what is it that he actually offers? What is it he does? But this guy has, for me, again, the ability not only to score goals, to arrive a little bit like Thomas Müller into the box, but he also has the ability to link play, to have the eye to make the pass, which I think we will see more of later on in the season. I just think Kai Havertz needs to take his chances now again, and he is still kind of young, but at the same time, he, like Mason Mount, they need to kick on a bit more, So
yeah, I mean, look. Listen, they all say he needs to take his chances like he did in the Champions League final, Club World Cup and the Super Cup and the clutch moments and all the trophies that everyone was celebrating. He's had 3 change of managers now. He's had change of league, COVID, all these situations. We've had deficiencies in the scene within the team, all right? And everyone talks about consistency. So how the fuck are you supposed to get consistency when the team is inconsistent as a whole? And on top of that, you bring in a cement-booted rat called Lukaku, who everyone fucking backed, to then go, where's Kai Havertz? Because Kai Havertz is rotting on the fucking bench and played only, 5 more games than Lukaku and got 1 goal less than Lukaku with all the issues. I think people need to understand that Lukaku is a 28-year-old, 29-year-old in his fucking prime, and Kai Havertz is a 22-year-old kid, all right, who's going to grow into and do levels and won more fucking Champions Leagues and Club World Cups and Super Cups than Kevin De Bruyne, the one that everyone gets on their knees for, who we let go. Well, why the fuck are we going to let go of a Kai Havertz who's going to be better than Kevin De Bruyne? He will be, because he's that fucking, he's got generational talent, That's what Kai Havertz is, And everyone around Europe wanted this player. Let's remind everyone. And fucking Real Madrid are snooping on that plan. You want this player to be sold for tuppence, for 40, 50 million to then go to Real Madrid or Bayern Munich and ball out? No, thank you very much. I want this kid to continue balling out of Chelsea, continue delivering the trophies. He wants to be at our football club. And let's have it right. He will get that consistency. And we've changed another manager, another way of playing. And you've got to allow this kid to adapt again. You've got Aubameyang now in there to hopefully share the burden, which Lukaku was meant to do. But he was so fucking shit that he couldn't do it. So Kai Havertz now has got some quality to learn off now, some real fucking quality. Aubameyang has been clinical these last 2 games. He's had very little to do, very little chances, pretty ghosted in both games, but yet when he got the opportunities, he took those. Kai Havertz was similar today. Didn't get many opportunities, got his 1 chance, and he took it. And that's all you can fucking well ask of, just like he did at West Ham. So this is the thing. Kai Havertz needs patience. He's like fine wine. And you let that fine wine mature, and then you enjoy drinking it. And I've been enjoying drinking Kai Havertz since the Champions League. So as far as I'm concerned, everyone needs to back off Kai Havertz, And like today, he scored that goal, 1-0 up, smashed it. I'm all for it.
I agree. Look, this season is going to be very important to see. Listen, there's no doubt that top clubs will sniff out for Kai Havertz if he does want to leave, or if Chelsea let him leave. He will go, and he will go somewhere and end up being the player that I think he will be. I do think there's that, but I want to see that at Chelsea. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him do that and go somewhere else and do what De Bruyne is doing or Salah's done or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So for me, we have to be patient. We have to give Potter the time.
Before you say that, all right, you talk about what did KDB do. Kai Havertz has won more fucking trophies, and he's because of Kai Havertz, we won. You score the goals, you win the trophies. You score that penalty, you win the trophies. Kevin De Bruyne didn't win anything till he went back to Wolfsburg after Chelsea, and he was 24, going on 25, and then he went to Man City. He went into a team that's already won the Premier League. Kai Havertz hasn't come into that team. Kai Havertz has come into a team that's not ready to challenge for the league, not ready for consistency, not built for consistency, but everyone wants to fucking ignore that. But what you got to understand is he's achieved more than Kevin De Bruyne has and your holy grail Mohamed Salah, at the age of 21, 22, than those 2 players who are your so-called generational players. You have to take note of that. All right. If your team's not built for consistency, how do you expect a player to be consistent? Haaland is bagging goals at Manchester City because he's walking into a complete article team. All right. You put Haaland at Chelsea, he's not going to bag as many goals as he's bagging. He'll bag goals, but we don't play the way they play yet. We're not balanced like that. We haven't got enough quality like that in every department. And that's the difference, bro. Yeah?
I agree. I agree.
Yes.
I agree. What we've done is we've opened up the line for the next 10 minutes. So let 10, 15 minutes, let everyone come in and have their say. We will try and get a show in tomorrow for the Milan game. Before I go away, guys, we'll open up the lines earlier, get you guys all in. But yeah, look, I agree when it comes to Kai Havertz, to be honest, Johnny. I think we just need to give him a bit of time and we'll have to see how it goes from there. But I've got CFC OG here, who obviously you're not bad, mate. Not bad. You're a member of Minerals FC, aren't you? As well? So it's good to see you.
Member channel, I'll go on yours as well, man. If only had a member channel, we spoke about that off air, but one day when you get it, I'll be the first to join.
They won't give me members. I don't know why YouTube. I've asked them many times, but
Big
they
up
won't give me.
Big up Geezer.
Go on, OG. What's your thoughts on the game, mate? Go on, tell us. Give us your thoughts on that.
The first thing I saw was Diego Costa 29 and then Havertz 29. I was like, what a coincidence. They both share the same shirt number. And I thought that's where the real battle was going to be. We kept Diego quiet, man. But Havertz, that header, that's something Drogba would have done. That was up and over. That's not easy, mate.
Yeah, good goal. It was a class goal. What's your thoughts on other players like Conor Gallagher and Christian Pulisic? I forgot to talk about Christian Pulisic. That's one of the players we didn't get to review.
Pulisic, bro, the youngest guy, autobiography, mate. Honestly, I'm happy the way Pulisic progressed. He came with the sub against Palace. He done well. We're giving him his time start. He done well. I'm sure he's gonna do some appearance against. Big up, John, man. Take care, man. I'm sure he's gonna do some kind of appearance against AC Milan, whether off the bench or already starting. He's doing what normal football progress is. You give them a time to play, they do well. You give them more time. Broja is next in line. So Pulisic paved the way. Hopefully he keeps it up because God knows America needs him for that World Cup. Yeah. America's here.
Yeah. I hear you, my man. Callie, what are you saying, my man?
He loves Pulisic.
I won't forget, Jim. Just know at the beginning of the stream, I won't forget.
I'm tired.
Tired. My left bum cheek. Listen, first and foremost, I gotta land this because this needs to rest. Why, when Potter does something well, when Potter does something bad, do we have to compare to TT? Similar when Lampard got sacked and TT did something well, we compared him to Lampard. And before Lampard, we did it with Sarri. Chelsea fan base, for the love of fuck, excuse my French, can we please back the club for once? Can we be unified together positively? I'm not saying to blindly support players because some of these players have let a lot of managers down. All I'm asking is for people to be honest about players' performances, coaches' tactics, and anything else like that. Other than that, it's a solid win today. There's no negativity to be had. There's obviously points we could be critical about, but why? That second goal, world class, start to finish, build up play included. I'm not going to complain. What for? We're literally what? A game in hand.
Yeah.
We're almost in second place again. Like, I'm chilling.
Are you starting to see what Potter wants to do with these players, or do you think we're slowly starting to see that, or what's your thoughts?
I think it's still too soon. It's a case of like people being impatient. I see what Potter would like to implement. When I was saying the wingers are like wing backs, what people need to understand is that Potter's system really shifts mid-game. Like as the game is going on, it looks set up like a 3-4-3. Today, he shifted to a 4-2-3-1. In another game, he did a 3-4-3 and went to a 3-5-2. Just shifted back a midfielder. In another game, he had Sterling starting as a left wing back. And we were all like, what? Why is he doing this? So Potter's system is supposed to be geared up to literally neutralize the opponent. That is what I am learning of Potter. However, because I don't know who he truly favors as his starting players, I can't call the ceiling. I don't see that far off. But all I can say is one game at a time. He's getting these wins. He's still undefeated, and I'm gonna back the manager. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Fair enough. And yeah, I think he deserves to be back, to be honest. It's not really I don't think we should really be judging him or comparing him like we said earlier with Johnny. Like this, it's a bit silly to be sitting there comparing two managers, especially one that's only just started and the other that's won Champions League.
Yeah, like TT's a legend. Just respect TT as such. Understand that there were things outside of TT's control that led to his demise and things he could have done better. But he did deserve more.
Also remember that Thomas Tuchel's win rate at Chelsea, I think, was the fourth. Is it the fourth highest manager? Yeah, 60%. Yeah, it's a big number.
Had the most clean sheets behind Mourinho. People don't have fickle memory, man. I really need people to understand that manager was class, absolute class, and I don't want to make it a TT stream.
60% win ratio. Yeah, but let's not get down that route. Because I don't want to talk about Tuchel. It's not fair.
But all I'm saying is you can respect him, except he's no longer here, and we can back and support Potter as well. Like I want Potter to do well. It's simple as. But yeah, I think it was a great game today. Obviously, it would be impossible for Potter to get this wrong tactically. There was no other manager on the other side of the dugout, so with all due respect, it seemed like a simple game to me.
Yeah, I hear that. Hassan, how you doing, mate?
Hello, guys. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yes, mate.
Yeah, big up yourself, man.
Yeah, big up you guys and big up Kali as well. Today's game really, surprisingly, there wasn't no kind of negative. I think we completely neutralized Wolves. We finally beaten teams back to back 3-0, and it's been a long time since we've done that. We've had a lot of chances today. I feel like despite the 3-0 win, I feel like we could have scored a lot more. The first half, let's be honest, if Havertz never put that goal away, a lot of people would have been frustrated. You would have seen the timeline having a meltdown and stuff like that. I feel like the Havertz goal has released a lot of frustration from the fan base, as well as I'm just happy that we got the win today and we're starting to look comfortable under Graham Potter. No agendas, no nothing, even though I don't rate him. I think he's doing a good job. But let's be honest here, I don't trust these players. I'm having deja vu of basically when Thomas Tuchel came in, these players were that's what
I agree.
These players were pressing, listening to the manager, being into
why
his tactics.
Why weren't they fucking doing it under Tuchel this season?
Exactly, they could have done that. They could have done any other tactician. They just wanted the manager out, in my opinion. And
you can't ask those questions, Johnny.
Long term,
right? There's some rats in the. Well, I'm not going to name names.
There's no point naming.
We know. No, Johnny, you can name names. We know who it was.
We know who they are. They've thrown Frank Lampard under the bus. They've thrown Thomas Tuchel under the bus. We know who they are. It's the same set of players. And my only thing is long term. Short term, we're going to play beautiful football, attacking football, fluid football. Yeah. It's just long term whether these players, Bowley is going to turn around and say to these players, you can't throw him under the bus anymore. He's my guy. If you don't like it, out you go. We need to get these.
But that's a good thing, isn't it?
Well, this is the point that I made the other day on my show, yeah. And I said, if Potter's been given a 5-year contract, right? He's getting a technical director. We've got a technical director in now. We're building. We've got his whole team, backroom staff. He needs to get top 4, and I think he will achieve top 4. He's good enough to get top 4, and he's got a good enough squad to get top 4. We've proved that over the last 3 seasons. Lampard got it, Tuchel got it. There's no excuse, yeah. My thing is this: when you got players like Pulisic and Savić in particular who wanted to leave, wanted to force their way out. Made it publicly known that they're unhappy and they want to leave, and they stayed at the club. Bowley's given a lifeline to Pulisic more than Savić, to be honest, because I think Savić is gone in January. But Pulisic has been given a lifeline now, only because the owner's fucking American, in my opinion, and that they want to give the chance to Potter. If Potter does not trust Pulisic, and Pulisic doesn't land the minerals and deliver, right? What's the next step? Because the moment The moment you still keep Pulisic on for another year, right? That's not backing Potter. I think the moment you get rid of a Pulisic player who is problematic, and Savić and any other player that's problematic, you're backing the manager, not necessarily with who you're signing in that, because I think they're going with a data analyst and all that. You know, that's the model they're going, and they'll get the sign off from Potter. But the most important thing is when Fergie was in charge and he was dominant in that period, right? He had Van Nistelrooy fell out with Ronaldo. He got rid of Van Nistelrooy as their most prolific striker. He got rid of Roy Keane, Paul Ince, Jaap Stam. He got rid of David Beckham. You know, you're talking players that have won back-to-back titles. They've won Champions Leagues, and he just got rid of them. Not like they're at the end of their career, in their fucking primes. He got rid of them, and that was the club backing the manager. Are we going to see that under Potter? And I think if you're going to back Potter for 5 years with a contract, you have to have that attitude, that mentality, so that every player that comes into this football team, anyone who's in this squad, knows that whatever the gaffer says goes. And I haven't seen that. I wanted that under Tuchel. I think Tuchel deserved that. And he was the elite manager to get that. But the owners didn't want that. All right. So they've made the call on Potter. Now you've got to land your minerals and back it. Even if we don't get top 4, you've got to back Potter. And any players that are unhappy, fuck them.
Yeah, I think the owners will do that. You know, I think the owners will do that. I think if we finish 5th this season, I think they will have to. You know, I think the long-term plan is now set in terms of the coach. I think that's made very clear. And when Bowley come out and said, or from what we heard, said that, you know, that we don't have to worry about getting top 4. If we don't, it's not the end of the world sort of thing. That kind of gives you the signal that they're looking to give
Pulisic might turn it around. I'm not saying he won't, but I'm saying in this current moment, Pulisic and Savić, in reality, should not be in our squad this season. They should be gone. Right?
Absolutely.
I think Ziyech's done.
But he's done. Guys. But my point is, you should have loaned him out. Right? Tuchel didn't want those 2 players. He didn't trust them. He didn't want them, and you still kept them. Yeah. So you've now kept them. You've brought in a new manager, and look at Potter. How many times he fucking started Pulisic? He didn't even play him in the AC Milan game as a 5th substitution. All right. Because he knows his off the ball work rate isn't enough to keep it tight, all right, not to concede. He wants to close the game off, all right. He's played him in the Wolves game to try and please a few players, and I like that, and I respect Potter for that because he's trying to create harmony, and he's managed to get a win with 7 changes, which is fantastic. Tuchel made 7 to 8 changes against Arsenal last year in the season. We fucking lost, you know. So you have to sort of. I think he only gets away with that because it's a new manager. If he's in the job for a year, 2 years, and he makes 7 changes, does he get away with that? It depends.
Not with these players, I don't think.
Well, no, probably not. The honeymoon period finishes, but I think Potter is very good with when it comes to man management, understanding, understanding the not just the footballing issues with the player or the positives, negatives, but also off the field. You know, your mental health, where are you at the minute? How can I help you as a human being? How can I make you better? And when you have that, because Fergie did that with Ronaldo and made Ronaldo a fucking generational GOAT, yeah? Because Fergie took Ronaldo under his wing and brought that. He did it with all the players. He brought it with Ruud Nistelrooy's career was at the end. And he brought him under his wing, and he built him up, and he made him that prolific striker. He brought Andy Cole. He was this close to buying Gascoigne, yeah. And Tottenham bought Gazza a house, and then Gazza went to Spurs. If Fergie got Gascoigne, yeah, I'm telling you now, he would have made him one of the best players in the world. All right, because he knows how to manage. That's why I say I think Graham Potter could be our Sir Alex Ferguson if he's given the time and the backing.
Whoa, you're there already.
Qualities. Yeah, no. I really do. I've analysed this guy, and I think
it's easier for the owners. It's easier for the owners. If he has 10 years, doing the job for the owner for 10 years, it's better than getting a manager. Getting a manager all the time is a headache. Honestly, the Americans much prefer someone take the reins. In America, CEOs, they last like 20, 30 years in a company. That's how the culture is there. The longer, the better. Even the managers for like the Lakers or the LA Dodgers, you touched on it before, Cali, they're getting long contracts now. They like the long contracts there. It's just
John North's not wrong, because I said on my last show I think Potter can go and win the league this year, and everyone comes at me for that. But I generally think. Listen, right now,
As
it's
long
about
as Haaland's healthy, no. But if
well,
Haaland gets an injury,
Haaland's very close to
anyone
having
can
surgery on his
yeah.
ankle, yeah, and he's avoided that. But I think the moment he does that and he's out or he gets an injury, I think City
Yeah,
will
you're right.
struggle. But my
You're
thing is this,
absolutely right.
right? The only thing in the favour of stopping City is the World Cup, because I think the World Cup can work in favour of us and against us as well as anyone else. But my thing is this: with Potter, he's so assured and calm. He's tactically astute. He's bringing harmony to the team, and without team spirit and harmony, you can't win nothing. You can't win fuck all. Tuchel won the Champions League with team spirit as well as quality and big moments. Yeah, that goes without saying on the football pitch. But my thing is this: we are now in a moment where we have built momentum. And we haven't built momentum for a long period of time. When you build momentum, you build form. You play into form, and when you have form, anything's possible. And at the moment, Arsenal are in form, Man City are in form, and that's why they're where they are. Everyone else is not in form.
I don't think we've. Yeah, no. But what I would say is that we have been so bad at the beginning of this season. Let's be serious. I don't think we've even seen what type of Chelsea to expect this season. I think we might now start slowly seeing some consistency in our wins and performances now, which means we'll hopefully start building up a winning pattern. But from what we've seen so far, as bad as people have said it has been, we're sitting in fourth. And if we win our game in hand, we're 4 points behind Man City.
That's not wrong.
Two games in hand.
That's the point I wanted to say.
This goes on the back of us being that bad. As we say, we've been that bad at the beginning of the season. So what happens when Chelsea?
I don't think you can get any worse, though, Jem.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But what happens when Chelsea are that good now, and we go on a good run, and we start?
We can challenge for the league. You can challenge for the league, because I think if you look at our squad compared to Arsenal and Spurs, we've got a better squad.
I agree with that. Miles. To a degree.
They might have. They've got the Harry Kanes, they've got the Sons. Don't get me wrong, they've got a fucking world-class striker there. But I think Aubameyang is that fucking clinical striker as well. I generally think Aubameyang, if you get him firing, and he's been clinical back-to-back 2 games and a rest, I think Aubameyang could get you the 18, 20 goals.
But the thing is, though, do you guys actually believe in the consistency of the squad? Because we have seen
that's the point.
Second half of the season they have dropped off.
Consistency comes, Hassan, when you play, when you get momentum and you start winning, keep winning games. It builds a confidence and it builds a team spirit. No matter, and you got to remember he's rotating the team as well and winning and not conceding now. And I think the big test for me will be going to the San Siro away. And then coming back from that to the Premier League game, if he can win those 2 games, you build serious momentum there to bring you into form. And I think once you hit that, anything's possible from now to the. So we'll have what, another? How many Premier League games? 5 Premier League games to play.
We have a lot of easy Premier League games. We get Brentford, Man United.
Before the World Cup starts, there's like 13 games. So
and we have a lot of easy ones. A lot of easy ones.
This is the thing with me. I keep saying that I don't trust the players, and I still feel that, because as much as I agree with Johnny, momentum is important. I don't feel that in certain positions of this squad that we are as good or as balanced as we should be, which means that we can be consistent throughout the Premier League like Man City are. And that will go against us throughout the season, because we will lose games and we will draw games.
To counter that, this season there's a big difference between last season and this season. And
but let me ask you this then.
You ain't got Lukaku. Yeah, that's the first thing. You ain't got Timo Werner. You haven't got Cho. You haven't got players that are so inconsistent. They were inconsistent. But if you look at the players that were consistent, they're still in our team. Majority of them. And we've added new players of higher quality. And that's the difference for me.
In certain positions, not everywhere, but I agree in certain positions.
Not everywhere.
We lost quite a lot as well. Let's be serious. We took 2 steps back by losing Rudiger and whatever else.
But all I'm saying is top four is achievable, man. We have a game in hand. Spurs 1 point behind. That's mad. That's mad.
Yeah.
We can't be saying we can't achieve top 4.
Wait a second, guys. If we lose Reece, I'll give you an example. It's not just about having the strength of the squad. It's about still injuries in key positions in areas that maybe we haven't got enough in. And I think if we lose Reece James, we lose Thiago Silva, we lose two midfielders like we tend to usually do, we then start to struggle. And I'm not need to say that can't be the Man City and Liverpool. But these are key players that bring us close to where we want to be in terms of balance, in terms of how good we
that's
can
any
be.
team, Jem. Like you take Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, and Diaz out of Manchester City, they're not going to play as like they do. It's just natural. You know, you're not going to have that top tier quality in every position and not get injured.
That's the difference.
No, they might have better quality to replace that, but it still affects the way their results, the way they play, bruv. They're not going to. You're not going to expect them to start playing the way they're playing now without fucking Haaland, who's their prolific striker, if he's not playing. You're not going to have that with Kevin De Bruyne creating chances if he's not playing. You might have Gundogan do it a bit. You might have Bernardo Silva do it a bit, and they'll put their part, or Foden has to step in. But let's have it right. They're still not Kevin De Bruyne, bruv. You know?
The thing is though, they'll go from 6 goals a game to 3 goals a game. They still got
maybe not. And also, let's not disregard that the World Cup. The World Cup is a big factor in this season.
The World Cup's going to fuck a lot of stuff
There could be injuries to a lot of City players.
I agree with that.
Right? There could be injuries to some of our players. Don't get me wrong, but I think there's more likely to be injuries to a Man City, because you know that all those players that play at City are guaranteed to start for their national teams. The only guaranteed starters for Chelsea in the England team for me is Mason Mount and Reece James. Everyone else ain't starting. I think Azpilicueta doesn't play for Spain that much. Aubameyang's not playing, is he? Is he playing the World Cup?
He won't.
No. He's not playing. Raheem Sterling will play for England.
Raheem Sterling, Kai Havertz, Conor Gallagher.
Kai Havertz will play. Conor won't play, I don't think. Jorginho's not in the World Cup. Kovacic will play.
Pulisic will play.
Koulibaly, Senegal. You've got Thiago Silva playing for Brazil. So we have got potential injuries, but that's all dependent on how far these teams go in the World Cup. They might not even qualify.
That's true.
You know, so not every team, country is going to qualify to go to the latter stages. So the chances are those players. I think the players that Man City have, most of their players could get to the latter stages. I mean, I don't know about England, but I think Brazil could. I think Spain have got every opportunity. Germany have. England potentially. But my point is, I think the only player that's not going is Haaland, right? Because they're not in the World Cup. We've got Jorginho or any Italian players, right? So let's see what happens. But my thing is this: don't write off anything. Anything's possible when you have momentum and form. But I've got to duck out. Big up to everyone in here. Like and subscribe.
Super chat, man. Take care, John.
Yes.
Big up the super chat. Big up Arthur B. Big up everyone
FC as well, guys. Check him out as always, and big up to him as well.
Big up, Jim. Big up everyone. Up the Chelsea.
Big up, man. Big up. Arthur B with the donation. Arthur B with a donation. Big up CFCOG and Johnny. Love your content. Subbed up. He said. Big up.
Smash the likes, people. Smash the likes, people.
No, Kelly.
No, people just see me on a bunch of streams and they're like, make a channel. I'm not doing that. It's simple. I'll support your streams and y'all can follow me on Twitter or IG. That's the only options you get. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you look at last season, Chelsea had they done a thing on Twitter. Chelsea suffered with the most serious injuries to their squad than any other team in the Premier League, and they were talking about key players in positions. You know, like losing them players. We lost a lot of players last season, and we did suffer for it. 100%, and it does worry me a little bit.
And
it does worry me.
This year we doubled up. I think we've got like.
No, but it's not even about squad depth though. That's what I keep trying to tell people. It's memory is fickle. It's squad depth and player mentality. Like we're on a form right now. This is a manager bounce. If the manager bounce dips and we play, say, a City, and I don't care what form we're on, City will probably respectfully slap us. No, I know we are. Not in the Carabao Cup. I'm talking about in the league. Carabao
No,
Cup, that's not going to hit their mentality. But if I know Carabao Cup's important, what I'm saying is, go.
Listen, the reason the Cup is more important, it's a 2-1. We beat Man City, which every Chelsea fan's ready to jump ship when we beat Man City. We're Potter. And then we also get to go to the finals, quarterfinals, and then semi-finals. It's a 2-1. Honestly, beating Man City, and that happened before the World Cup. So we're not playing Man City in the league until after the World Cup, if I'm not correct, yeah?
Yeah, but OG, watch. Let me flip this. So we beat Man City in the Cup, and then they slap us 6-1 in the league. Then what? Do you see my point? You see my point? And this is the thing. That is how Pep runs. Pep has already won 4 Carabao Cups in a row. He don't give a damn about that cup. But I guarantee you he'll care about that match at the Bridge. I guarantee you he'll show up for the match at the Etihad. And that's my problem. That's what I'm saying.
All I want to see from us this season is obviously get Champions League, but I want to see what we saw today, where we're just playing some good football. We will lose games I keep saying this. We will lose games this season. But if we lose games playing like we did today, where we're unlucky, but we're creating, and we score 1, 2, and we lose 2-1, and them games happen, I can take them on the chin. What I can't take on the chin, is how I have seen us lose, where we go 1-0 behind and we capitulate.
2-1 Southampton. 1-0 up. 2-1
And this goes back to the question of, do you guys really trust our players?
No, but I trust Bowley to start. Look, Bowley got the most players out we've ever had in that last transfer window. I expect him in January. Yes, he did. Go look at the outs. I expect him in January to get rid of Ziyech, and I expect him in the summer, if Pulisic doesn't stop playing, to get rid of Pulisic. And then he'll bring in Leao, he'll bring in Nkunku, and he'll keep it pushing. Bro, you guys need to check about Bowley, man.
We got Nkunku. We supposedly, even though I've been away this whole time, Nkunku could be a Chelsea player by the summer. It looks like a pre-agreement.
They're trying to decide whether to get him in by January. That's what I'm trying to say. He could be as early as January.
They won't do that.
They'll wait till the World Cup. They're not stupid. They're not going to pay now, and then him getting a long-term injury.
RB, they're our feeder club. Like we'll take their back room. We'll take their players. I feel like
allow them. Please have some respect.
No, but that's the thing. RB have always been a selling club. They've always
been.
They're more Chelsea selling because they know. We must have told them, look, if you want loans in the future, and if you want our sloppy seconds, our second beats, you got to be nice with us. Because what I'm saying, Nkunku's an assist machine. If we get him, but then let's look at the RB players that have left, from like Nketiah to Werner, and it seems that I think Mane was the one that really popped off.
I mean, with Vivel coming in, I don't think we need to look at RB anymore. Like besides Nkunku, because we got the main guy who actually scouts.
This is how many games has Potter been in? 4 now, right?
4. He's been here at the club for like 6 weeks now, I think.
No, yeah. So 4 games, right? It's 2 Champions League games, 2 Prem games. Here's the thing for me, okay? We know that if you've watched Premier League football enough, the table really does start to take shape 10 to 15 games in. This is a fact. It doesn't mean you'll end up there. We've seen upsets. We've seen Leicester City wins. We've seen madness. But what it does is indicate, the table does not lie. It indicates where you're flowing, where you're trending. We are a game in hand behind Spurs. And if we win our game in hand, which is against Aston frickin' Villa, we are on 19 points, 1 behind Spurs. Spurs' form has been horrendous. Spurs has the worst form out of the top 5 right now, including Newcastle. So what I'm telling you is this. Johnny is absolutely correct. If we keep the form, Potter has always indicated he's been a tactically astute manager, and we can just essentially what I'm looking at is short term. I need the players to just be turned on for as long as possible. Essentially, I need them to get through this year. Compete this year.
If they turn off till the end of the year, we're getting top 4 in the trophy, and that's probably the best case.
Exactly.
This is the biggest
question mark,
This is the biggest question mark that all Chelsea fans are waiting for. Are we going to be consistent in our performances? Are we going to be able to show a long run or patch of form again where we're playing well, we understand the roles, everyone's playing to the top of their levels, everyone's assisting, scoring, defending, everything's going well. Are we going to see that consistent patch of run? Maybe the World Cup doesn't help if we do, but at the same time, there's a lot of football to be played from now to the World Cup. So I would say if we're going to hit form and we're going to go at full steam ahead, do it now before the World Cup, accumulate the points, get them on the board, and then we go again after the World Cup. But I am going to shoot. I've got Milan.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Milan on Monday.
My brother, man. I wish I could come, man.
Safe flights, man. Safe flights, bro.
I'm away again. I come back, flew back, and then
Record a few clips for us.
Yeah. But I need to do a Milan preview. So if I can do Milan preview tomorrow,
Don't forget, they're smashing the San Siro by 2024. For anyone that doesn't know, the San Siro is one of the most legendary stadiums of all time. It will be dusted. If you can go, if you have the privilege to go, like Jem, go.
I'm doing it purely one of the reasons because of that, to be honest. And secondly, maybe good time for me to go in the way that we're playing at the moment. At least I can actually see how we do out there again as well. So interesting stuff. I'll try and get a preview in tomorrow, guys, for this Milan game, as I won't be here for Monday. And then Wednesday I'm back in the morning. Wednesday I'm back in the morning, which means I'm back in the afternoon for the match. I'll be back for the match preview. I'll be back for the match preview on Wednesday because I'll be back at 10 o'clock anyway. So even if I'm at the game and I go to bed late, which it will be late there, I've got to be up early for my flight. And then I'll be back home to do a match preview, a match reaction as well for that game. So big up to all you guys. Yeah. Hope you all had a good show, as always. Big up to everyone that joined the channel. Still over 200 of you guys. We had over 300 overall today on the show, as always. Big up to every single one. Enjoy the rest of your evening or day. And we'll be back again very soon. Peace out.
Take care, guys, man.